were not shot or maliciously killed by an individual. These animals were searching for water to stay alive. In the process, they unfortunately burrowed themselves into the mud and could not escape because they were so weak. A photo of the scene shows dozens of horses buried in the mud. Some are lying on their sides, while others are still upright with mud nearly reaching their heads. The president of the Navajo Nation said the incident exemplifies the problem the Navajo Nation faces in an overpopulation of feral horses. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said on Sunday he would not rule out the possibility that payments were made to women other than porn star Stormy Daniels to get them to stay silent about allegations against Trump. Giuliani told ABC's This Week he had no knowledge of whether former Trump attorney Michael Cohen made other payments, but he said, "I would think if it was necessary, yes, Cohen made payments for the president or he's conducted business for the president." Giuliani called the $130,000 Cohen paid to Daniels in 2016 a nuisance payment. Daniels alleges she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. Trump has denied the allegations. Cohen, Trump's longtime personal lawyer, faces a criminal investigation in part over the payment to Daniels. Michael Avenatti, a lawyer for Daniels, accused Trump of having an extramarital affair slush fund and told ABC he believes similar payments had been made to other women. Disclosure of additional payments could complicate matters for Trump, who initially denied knowledge that money was paid to Daniels. Giuliani said on Friday that Cohen's payment to Daniels, 1 month before the November 2016 presidential election, did not violate campaign laws and would have been made even if Trump had not been running. During a Fox News interview earlier in the week, Giuliani did link the payment to the presidential campaign and acknowledged for the first time that Trump had been aware of the payment. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after being fired from his coding position at a downsizing tech firm, 34-year-old Irvine native Sam Morrison told reporters Monday that he believed he had finally achieved the sort of work-life balance for which he has long strived.
Yeah, ever since I got fired, it just seems like my whole entire routine is just clicking. I go for jogs in the afternoon, spend nights with my wife and kid. I'm even cooking more. Everything just feels right.
Morrison, who since his termination has found time to pick up reading again, eat a healthy diet, and sleep more than 5 hours a night, noted that his unemployment has allowed him to find a level of harmony in his personal life that he never before thought possible.
For a while there, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life constantly worrying about getting to the office on time and pleasing my boss. Outside of the late payments on the house, the mounting credit card debt, the rapidly depleting savings, my life is essentially stress-free. I honestly couldn't be happier.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username, LRN.FM. That is a way for you to get on the air with us and sound pretty darn great compared to a phone call. Also, there's our Discord on-air call-in line room, which I think is the highest quality connection option for you. But you do have to get into our Discord chat first over at discord.lrn.fm, and you'll find that room at the top of our list of several different rooms where you can engage in conversation with other Free Talk Live listeners. And some of the hosts in the studio tonight include me, Ian.
Melanie.
And Will.
Now, of course, you can bring up anything you want on the way here tonight. Melanie, you're going to tell us about, in a little while, we'll get to the story of a social worker that was apparently shot to death, killed in some way. What happened?
She was beaten to death.
Beaten to death. We'll explain what that was all about. And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. Although I wanted to start tonight, since Will is here, he's pulling a double duty here today, actually just finishing up his own show, The Call to Freedom, which you can hear on LRN.FM every single weekday from 4 until 7 o'clock Eastern Time. because you are like the crypto guy. I mean, you've taken. We all love cryptocurrency here on Free Talk Live, but you've taken it to a different level by including it in your show every single day.
Yeah.
You have an entire hour of the Call to Freedom called the Crypto Hour. Every day of the week, and you talk about the latest headlines from the world of cryptocurrency and all different aspects, not just Bitcoin, but many of the competitors, some of the smaller upstarts, some of the controversies. So
anything going on in the cryptographic space. So like we're going to talk about stuff like encrypted media messaging systems or new coins or whatever's going on in that space in technology. So it could be like today we were talking about banks discussing using the blockchain as a way to improve transparency so that they're not gambling away your money because you can see what they're doing with it. That kind of thing.
Cool. So yeah, there's all kinds of neat things happening out there, and you're one of the people that I think, as far as people on the radio, you're probably one of the most plugged in, more so than even some of the hosts here on Free Talk Live. And there's something that's been kind of in the news over the last few weeks that I'm pretty sure you guys already covered on Call to Freedom. I've teased it, but we never really got into it, and that is this proposed lawsuit.
It went
against Roger Ver and Bitcoin.com. So it's already dead, or
it's dead in the water. Done.
Well, why do you say that?
Yeah. Well, because they couldn't raise the money for it. The guy who put the whole thing together, he's already refunded the 30. Like they needed to put like 50 grand together, is what he said, to pay for a lawyer so they could sue Roger Ver, and they were able to raise $3,700.
Wow.
Of it. Even though like according to like their Twitter feed, like tens of thousands of people that were ripped off and they're so angry. And like they couldn't even so tens of thousands. So that means you couldn't get $3 or $4 per person
with
for
all
like this huge payout they would have gotten.
Right, and with all of the supposed Bitcoin fanatics who hate Roger and Bitcoin Cash,
it's
they
like
still
Satan.
couldn't. So for listeners that are unfamiliar, let's give a brief history here, because it's what I wanted to talk about was more than just this lawsuit. It's the attitude of the people that are behind it.
Well, there has been one new development that actually happened today, and that is that CoinMarketCap has taken Bitcoin.com off of their website. Used to, when you went to CoinMarketCap and you looked up Bitcoin, over on the side, it's got like, websites,
related
exchanges and stuff. Website 1 was bitcoin.org, and website 2 was bitcoin.com. Website bitcoin.com is no longer listed at CoinMarketCap as a website to learn about Bitcoin.
I don't think that's unfair, because bitcoin.com does tend to promote Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin Cash is not the same thing as Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Core, whatever you want to call that. So I don't think that's necessarily a problem, but I understand why some people would be all abuzz about that. Some people just get all upset over this controversy between these two forms, these competing forms of Bitcoin, and I just can't understand why this conflict continues to this day. And Free Talk Live was just dragged into it yet again. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. But for listeners that are unfamiliar, let's take everybody back. Actually, it's been about a year now. About a year ago, in May of 2017, there were two feuding factions in the world of Bitcoin. Now, for listeners that don't know, Bitcoin's the world's first cryptocurrency. It's decentralized. It's, it was an amazing piece of technology. It was released to the world by Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who that is. It just got some really awesome coverage last night on the fictional television show Silicon Valley. Hilarious program. Great show. If you haven't checked that out, you really ought to. Last night it went completely pro-crypto, which was awesome.
Trezor Wallet was also on another HBO show last night.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
So, crypto's getting mainstream coverage, which is awesome. And, the fact is, we owe it all to Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin. So there's no doubt.
And let's be truthful, partly to Roger Ver.
Well, Roger Ver was one of the biggest
original promoters and early adopters.
Early promoter. He took a lot of his own money and put it into Bitcoin, and subsequently, and when it went up and early on, he spent a lot of that and invested what would now be probably hundreds of millions of dollars worth of it in these early Bitcoin startups like blockchain.info or I don't know if Coinbase was one of them, but he's in behind a lot of these.
The guy that was literally giving away free money years ago.
He'd come to PorkFest and hand out those physical Bitcoins, which are kind of like a gimmick, but they're worth like
15 grand. Yeah.
right now. So one of those physical Bitcoins that he was giving out at the time was worth about $2-3.
They're worth almost $1,000 with nothing on them now.
If they're just empty?
Yeah, just an empty Cassius coin.
That's amazing.
Is now worth hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Close to $1,000 just for an empty coin that you could hold a physical Bitcoin on.
So, I mean, Bitcoin is a phenomenon, and it deserves all the credit that it deserves, and that is, it deserves a lot of it. But there was a problem that happened last year. Well, it was happening before last year, but last year it came to a head. And it came to a sort of an impasse. And the issue was these two sets of programmers were fighting, saying, well, we know the best way to scale Bitcoin, because what had happened was Bitcoin had become too popular for its own system, for its network to be able to handle all the transactions that people wanted to put through it. And so the question was, well, how do we scale this thing? How do we make this thing be able to handle all the transactions that people want to use it for? Because it's succeeding, right? Like, it's a victim of its own success. It's going through growing pains, basically. These are good problems to have, right? You want to have the problem where you're struggling trying to figure out how to handle all the growth you're having because you're having so much growth, right? That's what every business should want to have to face. Unfortunately, the two different warring sides could not come to an agreement on how to fix this problem. They just couldn't. They tried. A year ago in May of 2017, there was something called the consensus, where both sides people from both sides, and there's different companies involved and like different people. There's no one like monolithic Bitcoin corporation. It's just like this code that's out there on the internet. There's no company behind it. There's just individuals who program this thing. And if not everybody agrees on how to program it, well, then it's part of the Bitcoin protocol to allow for what they call a hard fork, meaning that in this case, this would split the code. The people who disagreed with the directions could just go ahead and program their own version of Bitcoin using the original code as the basis, but making their own changes to it and sort of going forward with that, and then letting the market decide. What does the market say is the best solution? Is it VHS? Is it Beta? Or is it Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash? Or is it something else entirely? Because I think it's a false choice to believe that, Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash is going to be the ultimate winner of all this. It could very well be any of those other cryptocurrencies out there. There's over 1,500 of them right now. Or it could be something we haven't even seen yet.
There's not necessarily a one winner of currency. I mean, so in state currency, which, is a little bit different, but there's not just one currency.
There's the market dominant, though. There's the U.S. dollar is the world dominant currency.
I mean, through the military it is, but you could still, euros are still worth something.
That's true.
So it's not like, I would be very surprised if all but one cryptocurrency just kind of had either a zero or really low.
No. If that's what it sounded like I was suggesting, I wasn't. I'm not saying there's only going to be one in the future. What I meant was I don't believe that Bitcoin's going to stay on top forever. There's always going to be one that's on top, right? There's going to be one that has more of a market share, more of a market value than the rest of them.
Okay.
Whether, if you look at credit cards, maybe that's Visa, maybe it's MasterCard. I don't know who's got it in credit cards. Bank of America's the number one bank. So there's always going to be...
Bitcoin's the diners club of credit
cards. So we're going to come back here with more. Yeah, well, that was the first credit card.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
855.
And it's gone now.
450 free like freedom. There's more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. We walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it.
And the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly of green onions. That tells Mom you don't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquets, and they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms, delivered straight to your mom, so they'll last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cut out the middlemen, you'll get amazingly fresh cut flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter FTL. That's BOUQS.com, and remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. Bouqs.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in here. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And our Skype username is LRN.FM. Plus the Discord on-air call-in line room. You can go to discord.lrn.fm and hop in there, and that's another way for you to get on the air with us. We're talking about the world of cryptocurrency, specifically this ongoing, what I would say, petty infighting between...
Pissing contest is what I've called it since the very first day.
Between the Bitcoin, let's call them Maximalists, the Bitcoin true believers, and the Bitcoin Cash fanatics. They've been fighting one another for now a solid year almost, and Free Talk Live just got pulled into this again, and I'll explain what I mean when I say that here in moments. Joining you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Will.
Now, your Mother's Day gifts, you got a little bit of time left, but not much. So if I were you and you want to get something nice for Mom for Mother's Day, I'd get over to the Bouqs over at BOUQS.com. Bouqs stands for bouquets, and these flowers are bouquing awesome. In fact, they've even got farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And Books has cut out the middlemen so you get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. You can show your mom how much you care by sending her artisan design flowers from the Books. Order today. Get an extra 15% off when you enter code FTL like Free Talk Live. That's BOUQS.com. They're a new advertiser here on Free Talk Live. And we had some of their flowers in here last week. They looked great. I decided to get some for my mom as well. BOUQS.com with code FTL to save that 15%. So the headline about a week ago was that the outraged pro-Bitcoin community, pro-BTC community, alleges Bitcoin.com is misleading buyers into buying Bitcoin Cash. And then they go on to talk about how they want to file a lawsuit because allegations are that Roger Ver has been dishonest, that he has been outright committing fraud. And
well, now, that's one thing I definitely want to address. Yeah. My co-host on the show, Tom, is a cybersecurity attorney, and before he worked for the firm that he works for now, he used to work for a intellectual property, patent, that kind of stuff, that kind of law. And he took a look at what the people are crowing about specifically. You know, it's a screenshot that's in, like, if you go to Cointelegraph or, all these different websites, they show the screenshot of what everybody's freaking out about. And what it is it's a big orange thing, and it shows the Bitcoin Cash symbol and the Bitcoin symbol, and it says, click here to buy Bitcoin Cash BCH with a credit card, and underneath it says recommended. And then the second thing, it says Bitcoin, buy BTC with credit card, and that's it. And that's literally all that's there. That's all they have, is that they put Bitcoin Cash above Bitcoin. They don't say buy Bitcoin BCH here. There's no fraud whatsoever. Right. It's just you didn't give Bitcoin its proper position at the top of the ladder.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that are basically mad because Roger Ver, the number one promoter of Bitcoin for the longest time, BTC, is no longer in their camp.
Yeah.
He has taken his ball and he has left, and he's joined the Bitcoin Cash camp, and they act like Roger is Bitcoin Cash. He's just one of the promoters of Bitcoin Cash. He didn't program Bitcoin Cash.
People act like Roger is Bitcoin a couple years ago because he ran Bitcoin.com. And there's literally like 9 degrees of separation between you and talking to a person at Bitcoin.com because of years of stupid people thinking that Roger and Bitcoin.com are or invented Bitcoin.
So here's how we just got dragged into this recently. We had an emailer who is a Free Talk Live amplifier, or I should say was a Free Talk Live amplifier. And for those that don't know, amplifiers are listeners of ours who give at least $5 a month to Free Talk Live because they appreciate the work that we do here talking about peace and freedom and cryptocurrency here on the radio 7 nights a week. That's what we do. We do it pretty well. We've been doing it for a long time, and we've done it with the help of our listeners who, a couple hundred of them right now, are Free Talk Live amplifiers. Over the years, we've had over 1,000 of them, but, people come and go for different reasons. And a lot of times, or every time, whenever somebody cancels, I always send them a note. There's an automated note that goes out, but I also send them a, personal note like, hey, hope everything's all right. I hope to see you back soon. Really appreciate the fact that you supported our show. And Free Talk Live amplifiers, have most of them will take the time to, write a brief response like, oh yeah, I got fired. My budget's tight. I had to cut something, and I cut amp. A lot of times it's something like that. But in this case, the response from the person was as follows. Ian, I loved your work for a long time, but the recent support of Bitcoin Cash has driven me away. And so, of course, I wanted to know more about that because, as I said, I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean by support? Is it because we accept Bitcoin Cash on our donation page? We also accept BTC, Dash, etc. BTC, in fact, is listed first of all of those. Are you saying our show isn't worth supporting because we're not against Bitcoin Cash or because we're not regularly attacking Bitcoin Cash? I'm confused. We almost never talk about Bitcoin Cash in any way. There's really not much to talk about with Bitcoin Cash. I mean, in my opinion, Bitcoin Cash, and we've talked about these things before, so for somebody who's a regular listener, maybe he wasn't, they should know this. But I have not in any way been pushing Bitcoin Cash locally.
You do more to push Dash than you do Bitcoin Cash.
I do, and that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Dash sponsored Free Talk Live in the past. They aren't currently sponsoring now, although we're going to be pitching them again on it. That had to do with the fact that AnyPay, which is a New Hampshire-based payment services provider, they allow merchants to have a point of sale and take cryptocurrency. When they launched last year, when Bitcoin was becoming really unwieldy and the fees were going insane, Bitcoin fees went up to like $20 per transaction for a while last year.
More than that.
We needed something. There were merchants that were in this area that were taking Bitcoin, and their customers had stopped paying with it. Because no customer in their right mind is going to go in and buy a $2 soft drink from Corner News and pay $5 on top of that for the privilege of using Bitcoin. No sane person.
And that's not even an exaggeration.
No, it's not. No sane person is going to do that. So we had to do something. I, as the person who assisted many of these local business owners with coming on, I had to go to all of these guys with my tail between my legs saying, hey, yeah, sorry, this Bitcoin thing, it's not really working out the way we'd hoped it had. I mean, I still like Bitcoin, but unfortunately, as you know, your customers have dropped off the radar. So if you'd like to keep taking crypto, we think it'd be cool if you did. Here's this thing called Dash, which is what AnyPay had implemented first. They didn't implement Bitcoin Cash first. They implemented Dash. So that was what we went with. And luckily, most of the business owners, in fact, every single one I talked to, I was worried they were going to be like, screw this. We tried this, and now, it's not Bitcoin's broken, so we don't want to do anything else. Actually, they were so into cryptocurrency that they were like, heck yeah, sign us up for Dash. Let's do it. So I didn't have anybody turn me down because it wasn't Bitcoin. Right? So now if you go to any of the places that had taken Bitcoin, almost all of them, there might be a couple that we haven't converted, but if you go into the Corner News shop here in Keene, New Hampshire, if you go to Local Burger, if you go to these other stores and restaurants, you can pay with Dash. And now a couple of them have come on with Bitcoin Cash, but that's not because I pitched it to them.
Oh, yeah, they came to you.
That's because a customer or more than one customer came to them who I don't know and asked them if they could pay with Bitcoin Cash. And then they came to me saying, hey, how do I take Bitcoin Cash? It's like, well, it's finally ready, so here's how you do it. So more coming up here on this critique about Free Talk Live on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea, email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Just because somebody isn't against a thing doesn't necessarily mean that they are a fan of that thing. We're talking about the Bitcoin controversy that has once again reared its ugly head directly in our world here on Free Talk Live. You know, I was hoping that we could move beyond that. I was hoping that people would, once the Bitcoin split into 2, there's Bitcoin Cash and there's sort of Bitcoin Core, for lack of a better term. I think that better describes BTC than calling it Bitcoin, because in my opinion, Bitcoin doesn't exist anymore. The original Bitcoin is gone, and there are now like 70 different Bitcoin variants, Bitcoin Core being BTC, and then Bitcoin Cash being the first official fork from the original Bitcoin. But that's what we're discussing, and we're going to continue that here because somebody has said the reason why they've quit amping the show is because we support Bitcoin Cash. And I wanted to... Which
is really petty.
It is very petty, but we'll get into it because the pettiness has only just begun. Okay. So
it'd be like telling me that that Cult of Freedom supports Bitcoin Cash because we talk about them and I say nice things about Roger from time to time.
Because you don't hate, you must support.
We're sponsored by an ASIC resistant coin that, like, their entire marketing team hates Roger Ver. Okay, who cares? Whatever. Vertcoin doesn't like Bitcoin Cash. I don't care. I don't care who likes who. I want the best coin to win. That's what I want. I want it to be an absolute bloodbath because competition is good. Right. I buy privacy coins because I ideologically am aligned with the ideas of privacy. I love things like Verge and Zencash and Monero. I love these kinds of technologies because they're built around maintaining my privacy. But if you want to pay me in Bitcoin, pay me in Bitcoin. If you want to pay me in Bitcoin Cash, I am happy to accept Bitcoin Cash. If you can trade it on an exchange, you can pay me in Vulcan, whatever the heck it's called. And if you can trade it on an exchange, I am happy to accept it as payment.
And every single one of us takes Federal Reserve notes, but nobody's ever took issue with that.
That's a great point. So... You haven't gone 100% Bitcoin only, so therefore you support the Federal Reserve and government murder.
And you and I, Ian, have actually seen people that are like that.
At least there's some logic to that, even though it's crazy.
Since you bring up some of the privacy coins, Will, let's talk briefly about Zencash, which is a sponsor here on Free Talk Live. And they're a great sponsor because they're a liberty-oriented privacy coin. There are lots of privacy coins out there competing. They, of course, have some of the best technology like zero-knowledge anonymity. So they've got the tech where it counts in the privacy sector. But they've also got the voluntarist philosophy that was the foundational beliefs that helped create Zencash. Not only that, turns out the market supports them. They've got over 11,000 secure nodes, which means they've got more nodes operating than Bitcoin does. So you need to look into Zencash. Whether it's right for you or not, that's another question. You've got to decide that. Go to zencash.com. You can read their white paper there. It actually mentions voluntarism there in the white paper more than once. And once again, it's Zencash, Z-E-N, zencash.com. So we've got a Free Talk Live amplifier who I'm not going to name. There's no reason to do that unless he wants to call in, in which case he's welcome to do so, who cited that we support Bitcoin Cash, so therefore he does not want to support us. And I said, well, what do you mean by support? Is it because we're not regularly attacking this one of 1,500 different cryptos that we're therefore a supporter of it? Or is it because we have Bitcoin.com as an advertiser here on Free Talk Live, and that website happens to be a fairly supportive site of Bitcoin Cash? And so he writes back and he says, the big turnoff for me is the Bitcoin Cash giveaway that we did months ago. Roger came on the air and he was willing to give away $1 worth of Bitcoin Cash to anybody who responded to the advertisement.
$1.
And I doubled it to another $1 worth, so we were giving away $2 worth. You laugh, but 100 people came in within weeks and claimed their $2 worth of Bitcoin Cash.
I'm laughing because we used to give away $10 increments of everything from Putin coins to Ruby coins to denariuses, like whatever made-up nonsense people could come up with. We would give $10 away of it a day, and I would still do it if we had sponsors that would pay to do that.
Well, you were doing it as a contest. You were doing it as like
either
the first
way,
person who
that
called
still
into the
could
show.
be construed as you're promoting flash coins. No, bro, I'm just giving it away because I'm promoting crypto.
So Roger, he says, yes, it's a rather delayed reaction because again, that episode happened like in November, and now he's canceling his amp. He says, I know Roger's been a big supporter for you for approximately forever, but with this Bitcoin Cash thing of his. It's not his thing. He's just a supporter of it, from what I can tell. We met the programmer of Bitcoin Cash. He's a French guy named Amaury Sechet, and he was at Anarchapulco. But anyway, he says his website and Twitter accounts are outright lying and scamming innocent people. Anyone who's directly or tacitly supporting his scam is not someone I can support. For what it's worth, when Roger first jumped on the BCH wagon, I still thought of him as a good guy for liberty and defended him, but in the following months it became clear that he'd lost not only the technical script that makes Bitcoin great, but the moral compass that we as voluntarists most hold. So now I'm like, okay, this is a pretty serious allegation. He has just accused Roger Ver, who's one of the longest supporters of Free Talk Live and somebody who I would call a friend, of committing fraud. So if that's true, if it's true that Roger Ver is committing fraud, I want to know about it. Because I don't want to be on the air talking about a company or a person or a website or whatever that is committing fraud and can be proven to be committing fraud. I want to see the evidence. So I wrote back. I said, hey, that's pretty serious allegations. What's the scam you're alleging? We certainly don't want to be part of a scam, so please tell me more. I then looped in Mark and Daryl into this so we could all kind of, see exactly what's going on. We had a board meeting about this last night of, me and Mark and Daryl, the main hosts here on Free Talk Live. And so he responds. He says, hi, guys. I appreciate that you're taking this seriously. Honestly, I'd assumed you'd already been made aware of Roger's fraudulent actions already. He says Roger currently controls 3 important internet properties relating to Bitcoin: the r/BTC subreddit, Bitcoin.com, and the @Bitcoin Twitter handle. Now, I've heard that he doesn't control the @Bitcoin Twitter handle, but regardless, that's his claim. These 3 outlets have been actively perpetrating several fraudulent myths about Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and the Bitcoin software currently known as Bitcoin Core, but previously known as Bitcoin QT. He then provides links to a Cointelegraph article about this lawsuit, Will, that you say has completely fizzled out.
Yes.
That they tried to raise money to hire an attorney to go after Roger for these alleged fraudulent claims.
Well, yeah, because supposedly they had this like tidal wave of people that wanted to sign on for this class action lawsuit.
That was what
and
they
they
said.
all had thousands of dollars to piss away in this ridiculous investment because they were so stupid that somehow they got scammed into not knowing that BCH is not BTC.
Yeah.
But they don't have a few bucks to kick in for a crowdsource to get legal help to get their money back.
And the existence of a class action lawsuit in no way proves that someone could. I don't care if they won. The existence
They
of a
didn't even
class
file
action lawsuit does not prove that somebody committed
Right.
fraud
They
or did
couldn't
anything
come
else.
up with $4,000.
Right.
They couldn't come up with $4,000
of a supposed global movement of angry people who, many of whom, in the Bitcoin community have a lot of Bitcoin that they could have contributed, right? Like there's plenty of people who are Bitcoin maximalists who have a lot of Bitcoin. And any one of them could have probably individually funded attorney's fees if they believed there were actually a case.
Oh, yeah.
And from what I can tell, there's not.
Like I said, we have a guy on the show. My co-host 3 nights a week is an attorney. He works in the cybersecurity world. He used to work in the patent world, and we've been covering the show since the beginning of the on my show since the beginning of the discussion. Every little nitpicky little nonsense, we've covered it because it's a big story in the crypto community. And Tom laughed.
At the idea of
at the whole concept of a lawsuit.
Yeah, and we've got Melanie here. She went to law school as well. So.
It's ridiculous. It's patently ridiculous.
So what he provides as his evidence at this point, and I ask him for clarity a little bit later, but he provides links to a Twitter account by an account named Money Triggs, who clearly has an axe to grind.
Money Triggs is the one who started he tried to fundraiser and then had to refund the $3,700 that he was able to raise in a little over a month.
His website that was like bitcoincomlawsuit.info, it just forwards to Google now, so there's not even anything there. I tried to go to it just before the show. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. So my response is Twitter allegations are not what happened to you. How were you frauded?
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, and rats. If you've made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix, because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has 90 years of experience eliminating home invaders, and they make it easy for homeowners to be protected by offering a free pest estimate by calling 1-800-676-9879. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, rats, and other pests. This is your last chance. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will never stop working to keep you out with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Pests. Wherever you are, I will find you. Pests, you've been warned. Homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate. 1-800-676-9879. 1-800-676-9879. 30-day money-back guarantee at participating locations. Limitations apply. See plan for details.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us here. Our number, 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about cryptocurrency. We haven't done a real heavy crypto show in a while here on Free Talk Live. It's Ian, Melanie, and Will in the studio here tonight. We're talking about the ongoing petty battling between the Bitcoin Core supporters and the Bitcoin Cash supporters. And one of the petty, arguments is over what Bitcoin Core should be called. I'm calling it Bitcoin Core, and we can get into it a little bit more, because it makes it clear to me which one I'm talking about. Because I don't believe there is just one Bitcoin. And a lot of these allegations, this person who's emailing says Roger Ver, who's one of the sponsors of Free Talk Live, is committing fraud. And I want to know if fraud is being committed, because I don't want to be associated with it. I want to be able to identify what that fraud is specifically, so it can either be corrected or we can disassociate completely with anybody that is committing that fraud. And
this just seems like an IP claim on the word Bitcoin.
It's not. Well,
it's the best I can figure.
Well, which of course they have no claim, because there is no owner of the idea of Bitcoin, which I'm sure makes them very angry.
Well, because IP is BS.
Yeah.
Justin Koinomi. This is Justin Koinomi, so that's by no far all of them.
It's a wallet. That's a multi-crypto wallet.
I have 7 different Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Plus, Bitcoin Private, Bitcoin Z.
Wow. I
Just,
don't have that many.
Well, I mean, I don't own that many. I'm just saying.
Okay. You're saying you could have.
You could. That's what they have.
Right.
And then you've also got Bitcoin Tether and Bitcoin Atom.
There's also a website out there, Will, and I'm sorry I don't remember what it is, but it actually has tracked all of the Bitcoin forks that have happened in the last year, and there's been like 70 of them.
Yeah.
No joke.
70 Bitcoin forks.
Not all of them have materialized, but dozens of them have.
Is that only hard forks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. I mean, the phones are open at 855-450 free like freedom. But, we'll let this guy continue to make his argument, because I said, look, you're making a serious allegation here. And I've got a problem, right? Like, I've got a problem of, I've got a longtime supporter of Roger Ver and a longtime supporter of this emailer here, who is a Free Talk Live amplifier, supporter of the show, sends $5 a month in, or whatever the amount was. I'm sorry if it wasn't 5. It was at least 5. I don't have that detail in front of me, but, supporter of Free Talk Live. I've got 2 different supporters saying, one of them saying, your other supporter is a fraud. And so I need to know if that's true. So I wrote him back saying, hey, look, you've given me some Twitter accounts showing some pictures from Roger's website that are really more of like opinions about who owns the idea of Bitcoin and what a Bitcoin is. And ultimately people having different opinions about, what is the true Bitcoin is just a matter of opinion. Of course, one side's going to say, well, our opinion's right. And the other side's going to say, well, our opinion's right. And my viewpoint is, look, man, they're all Bitcoin to me.
Yeah, someone disagreeing with you on what the best cryptocurrency is not fraud.
Not fraud.
For real?
That's the same
Which
thing.
is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
here.
I like Coke. I like Pepsi.
Well, you say you like
committed
Pepsi.
fraud.
That's fraud if you like Pepsi. No, no, what?
So he goes on. He points out these links to Money Trig's Twitter, which again shows pictures from Bitcoin.com. Which again, we talked earlier about Bitcoin.com. They sell Bitcoin Cash and they sell Bitcoin Core, and they make it clear which one they're selling. Now, there was one thing that wasn't clear, and I'll get into that coming up here in a moment. So I do agree with him on one point. But he goes on to talk about Bitcoin is an internet money protocol. It's consensus driven and can only be changed by consensus. In August of 2017, there was a fork from Bitcoin called Bitcoin Cash, due specifically to a lack of consensus about increasing the block size. And I would say that's pretty accurate so far. At the time of the fork and subsequently, Bitcoin Cash implemented incompatible changes to its protocol, permanently separating it from Bitcoin.
But they announced that. It's not like that was a secret.
Correct. And the market got to decide.
That is correct.
The Bitcoin Cash people said, we're going over here. These Bitcoin Core folks, they won't implement the changes we think they should implement, so we're just going to go ahead and do our own thing. Split.
Yeah.
And then the market, the miners, got to decide. If you've got a mining rig and you're mining Bitcoin Core, do you want to stay on that? Or do you want to move it over to this new thing, this Bitcoin Cash? Some of them went to Bitcoin Cash. Some of them stuck with Bitcoin Core. And now today, you've got two major competitors that basically came from the same seed of the original Bitcoin. So going on here with his explanation, he says there's no such thing as a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin Core, no matter how much Roger et al. Want to claim that there are, quote, two kinds of Bitcoin. Well, first of all, I wouldn't say there are two kinds of Bitcoin. I'd say there are about 70 different kinds of Bitcoin. You just went through about 7 or 8 of them earlier. A year ago, there was one Bitcoin. A year ago, there was BTC, the original Bitcoin, that in August split into two, BTC and then BCH, Bitcoin Cash, and then Bitcoin Gold came out off the BTC, and then Bitcoin Diamond, and then Bitcoin this and that and this and that and this and that. And now there's 70 of them. And so no, there's not two kinds of Bitcoin, but I can understand why the people who are at the top talking about these things would like to restrict the discussion to those two, because there are two relevant forms of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin Gold was the third one, and it's sort of in the top 20 or 30 now. I don't know where it's at. It was in the top 10, but it's fallen off a cliff, and the rest of them are not even worth talking about. So there's the two Bitcoins that are worth talking about, which is Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. But as he points out, he says there's no such thing as a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin Core. And this is one of the things that really gets the goat of these people who are let's call them Bitcoin maximalists or true believers, is that if you go to bitcoin.org, it talks about Bitcoin. That's the original Bitcoin website. It's branded as Bitcoin. On most exchanges, it's called Bitcoin. It's true that most people don't refer to it as Bitcoin Core. But from my perspective, and again, this has nothing to do with fraud. This is just about beliefs about what Bitcoin is. The original Bitcoin is programmed by Satoshi Nakamoto, who he then disappeared, or she, or whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is, disappeared in 2011. So we don't know what Satoshi Nakamoto thinks about the current status of a Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and all that. But regardless, that original creation no longer exists in its original form. So that version of Bitcoin is gone. And it died, to my mind, last year in August, when the Bitcoin programmers put into place this thing called segregated witness, which I'm not going to begin to try to explain. They claim that it's some sort of change to their protocol that will help Bitcoin scale on into the future. I don't know if there's been any proof that that's true or not, but regardless, they made a fundamental change to how Bitcoin worked, but they kept the BTC name. They kept the BTC, those market, what do you call it, ticker symbol? They kept that ticker symbol. And they continue to call it Bitcoin. But because there are these other Bitcoins out there, like Bitcoin Cash, because again, Bitcoin Cash it's a fork from the original Bitcoin. There's an argument that Bitcoin Cash is more true to the original Bitcoin, but it's not the original Bitcoin because it's got a 8 megabyte block, and the original one didn't have an 8 megabyte block, and so on and so forth. But regardless, Every other one of these Bitcoins has a modifier after it. Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Diamond. So to me, it makes sense given that BTC, Bitcoin Core, so like the word core works for BTC, and further, that's what the programmers of Bitcoin call their official software. So it's not like somebody just made up Bitcoin Core out of nowhere. It's not like the Bitcoin Cash camp made up Bitcoin Core and said, let's just call it that. Because, I mean, if they wanted to be really petty, they could just call it Bitcoin crap or be really insulting, right? But no, they called it Bitcoin Core because when you go to bitcoin.org, the official Bitcoin website, and you download their software, what is that called? It's called Bitcoin Core. So the Bitcoin programmers themselves had said, well, our software should be called Bitcoin Core. So why shouldn't the coin itself be referred to as Bitcoin Core?
Because I'm offended.
Right. I mean, that's really all it breaks down to. There's no
because
fraud.
we're 14 years old and we're standing in the locker room with our, with our uniforms on, with our cheerleaders, and we're waiting to run on the field because that team sucks. Yeah. Woohoo! And that's literally what it feels like now. It's like 14-year-olds screaming at each other in a football stadium over whose school rivalry is best. And, no, man, we won the golden chicken this year. That's what it sounds like to me.
So going on here, he says he'd love to see Free Talk Live strongly distance itself from Roger and Bitcoin Cash, as the whole Bitcoin Cash debacle currently driving a wedge between important parts of the Liberty community, and your voice of reason could potentially help settle it once and for all. Now, the interesting thing about this claim is it's not the first time it's been made. There was another Free Talk Live amplifier who wrote a similar email within the last 2 months, who also was pulling his amp because of our so-called support for Bitcoin Cash. Now, we managed to talk him back into the fold by pointing out, hey, we have hosts on the show who prefer Bitcoin Core, like Chris, our Thursday night co-host. He's a fan of that. So, to blame some of the hosts for what some of the other hosts, say is ridiculous. And again, what other show is promoting liberty in any way, shape, or form on the radio waves? We'll come back with more here. There's more on the way. Hour number 2 is coming up. You can take control and bring up what you want. The Bitcoin war, unfortunately, continues.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,312 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $38, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,330. Antiwar.com reports Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu is warning that Turkey is prepared to retaliate against the United States if Congress goes through with a plan to halt the sales of U.S. weapons to Turkey. He added that the U.S. needs to let go of this. At present, language temporarily halting arms sales to Turkey is in the newest military spending bill, the National Defense Authorization Act. It would halt all sales until the Pentagon completes a report to Congress on the status of the relationship between the U.S. and Turkey. The relationship is not great between the two NATO members. Turkey has been openly threatening to attack U.S. forces within Syria for backing the Kurdish YPG. The U.S. is also irked that Turkey recently bought a Russian S-400 air defense system, choosing it over more expensive U.S.-made options. It makes sense that Congress would be leery of selling Turkey arms that might soon be used against the U.S. forces in northern Syria. At the same time, Turkey is offering to buy over 100 F-35 jets from Lockheed Martin, and that sort of purchase covers up a lot of concerns. Turkey's foreign minister insists that his country is not under your orders and would not accept the U.S. Congress telling them what they can and can't buy. He did not specify what Turkey's retaliation would be if the ban is to be put in place. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports approximately 191 feral horses were found dead in a dried-out stock pond on Navajo Nation land in Arizona last week. Navajo Nation Vice President Jonathan Nez said the horses were looking for water and got stuck in the mud of the stock pond, one of the few water sources for the feral horses in the arid area. He said in a statement, "Resources at the scene indicate that foul play was not a factor. These horses were not shot or maliciously killed by an individual. These animals were searching for water to stay alive. In the process, they unfortunately burrowed themselves into the mud and could not escape because they were so weak." A photo of the scene shows dozens of horses buried in the mud. Some are lying on their sides, while others are still upright with mud nearly reaching their heads. The president of the Navajo Nation said the incident exemplifies the problem the Navajo Nation faces in an overpopulation of feral horses. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said on Sunday he would not rule out the possibility that payments were made to women other than porn star Stormy Daniels to get them to stay silent about allegations against Trump. Giuliani told ABC's This Week he had no knowledge of whether former Trump attorney Michael Cohen made other payments, but he said, "I would think if it was necessary, yes, Cohen made payments for the president or he's conducted business for the president." Giuliani called the $130,000 Cohen paid to Daniels in 2016 a nuisance payment. Daniels alleges she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. Trump has denied the allegations. Cohen, Trump's longtime personal lawyer, faces a criminal investigation in part over the payment to Daniels. Michael Avenatti, a lawyer for Daniels, accused Trump of having an extramarital affair slush fund and told ABC he believes similar payments had been made to other women. Disclosure of additional payments could complicate matters for Trump, who initially denied knowledge that money was paid to Daniels. Giuliani said on Friday that Cohen's payment to Daniels, 1 month before the November 2016 presidential election, did not violate campaign laws and would have been made even if Trump had not been running. During a Fox News interview earlier in the week, Giuliani did link the payment to the presidential campaign and acknowledged for the first time that Trump had been aware of the payment. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotaped domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy détente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We have gotten dragged into this petty fight between the Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core proponents out there, which, just to be clear, there's pettiness on both sides. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm not taking a side in that particular fight. The Shire Free Church, which runs this show, has holdings in both Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash. So, I want to see them both succeed. I would love to see Bitcoin, BTC, come back around and become a useful currency again, because I'm sorry to say, it's not right now. People are not using Bitcoin on person-to-person transactions generally around here. They're not using it at point of sale, and that's unfortunate, but that's just the reality.
I stopped using Bitcoin Cash for a while because Koinomi's wallet was really glitchy with Bitcoin Cash for like 3 or 4 months. And that was literally the only reason. People were like, can I pay in Bitcoin Cash? No, not really, because I can't get Bitcoin Cash's wallet and Koinomi to work.
There were some kinks that got worked out over time, and I think Bitcoin Cash is finally ready for people to actually use. Because for a while in the beginning, because they both came from Bitcoin, even though the Bitcoin Maximalists will deny that, they both came from Bitcoin, so they had the same address format for a while. And so in the beginning, people were accidentally sending, because they weren't paying close attention, they would send Bitcoin Cash to the old Bitcoin address, thinking they were sending it to a Bitcoin Cash address, but they weren't, and so they'd lose it, or if they were really lucky and they happened to have the private keys to that address that they sent it to, they could go through a bunch of technical background kind of stuff that needed to be done to save it. So that happened with Mark's wife. She accidentally sent like a few $1,000s worth of Bitcoin to a Bitcoin Cash address, or the reverse, either Bitcoin Cash to a Bitcoin address, and luckily they had access to the private keys, but they couldn't fix it. They had to send me the stuff, and I had to go through and do whatever technical stuff to help them out with that.
Yeah.
So finally, those issues have been ironed out. Now there's a special format just for Bitcoin Cash, and we're seeing more of the wallets adopt that. So that's getting fixed. But anyway, that has nothing to do with what's brought us into this discussion again. What brought us into this was a Free Talk Live amplifier emailing to let us know, because I always ask whenever somebody cancels their amp, hey, why'd you leave? Would you mind sharing, what was the reason? And most of the time it's just personal financial difficulty. Somebody's, lost a job, or they're moving, or whatever. And
or they don't like me.
Has that happened?
Yeah, Mark sent me the email.
Okay. I remember there was a station that dropped us because of you.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I don't remember the amplifier who did that, but most of the time it's not something petty. Most of the time it's something understandable. Hey, your finances got cut. You had to cut some expenditures. Understandable.
And probably most of the time when it is something petty, people, I would imagine, are less likely to admit to that than, hey, I don't have any money. Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes it's, I don't like what such and such co-host said. Well, but this other co-host has your opinion. Yeah, but I don't like such and such co-host saying, oh, okay, well.
Whatever.
Good luck. Good luck finding another libertarian talk show on 180 radio stations that, you can promote and help, get on more stations where you could call with your opinion if you wanted to. But anyway, going on here. So the argument or the accusation is that Roger Ver, who's a longtime supporter of Free Talk Live, he's the guy behind Bitcoin.com, who's one of our sponsors and has been for a long time, that he's committing fraud. And the initial response that I said, well, if that's true, I want to know about it. I want this fraud detail.
Yeah, like citation needed.
Yeah, let's get all the evidence out in the open, because I want to see it. Roger Ver doesn't tell me what to say, by the way. Even though Bitcoin.com's a sponsor, he has never told us that you have to prefer Bitcoin Cash or you have to do...
Like, if I was going to email somebody and be like, XYZ is committing fraud, I would be like, XYZ is committing fraud, attachment screenshot, attachment link. Like, actually, maybe prove what I'm saying is true.
Well, when I did ask for some proof, he provides links to a Twitter account not run by this person making allegations about Bitcoin.com's website, doing shady practices, which I do not agree that they're doing anything shady at Bitcoin.com. Now, there was something that I thought was an issue with Bitcoin.com, and that's what I wrote to him about in my response. So I said to this person, I said, I'd like to inform you that within the last 2 weeks, I reached out to Roger. As you may be aware, that while Bitcoin.com is an advertiser with Free Talk Live, they've never told us what to say or what opinions to hold regarding Bitcoin, BTC, BCH, etc. My intention in reaching out to Roger was to inform him that their Bitcoin.com Academy wasn't clear that it was referring to Bitcoin Cash throughout their presentation. So for listeners unfamiliar, we talk about Bitcoin.com here as a sponsor. They've got a lot of different aspects, but one of their aspects is it's a place for newbies to learn about Bitcoin. And I was checking that recently because I was using Bitcoin.com, not just on the air, but because it's a useful resource, or it had been a useful resource, I would link to it on my dollars. Like if you ever get a dollar bill from me, it's stamped with Bitcoin.com and Shire Bitcoin URLs because I want people to know about Bitcoin. There's a website here called monadnockcrypto.com, which is Monadnock's the region of New Hampshire in which we live, and it's kind of a website that specifically targets people living in this area and explaining to them what cryptocurrency is. And on that menu, we have cryptos pull down, and Bitcoin and Dash are there, and Bitcoin Cash was recently added to it because we've had businesses ask about it. And I had been linking to Bitcoin.com for the Bitcoin link, and I wanted to make sure that was still something I felt comfortable doing, and I wasn't comfortable with it. When I went and I looked at the introduction, it wasn't a video, it was like one of those things you can page through about the introduction to Bitcoin, which they call their Bitcoin.com Academy. He was talking about Bitcoin Cash, but was just calling it Bitcoin. And to me, that wasn't clear. Now, I can understand why somebody would say that's fraudulent, and I would say that you could argue that it skirts that, but it also has to do with Roger's belief that Bitcoin Cash is
that's not
the true
fraudulent.
heir.
It's unclear.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not fraudulent.
I just lost $27 worth of Bitcoin Cash right here while we were on the air.
Sorry, bro. How'd that happen?
I tried to shapeshift it into Dogecoin, and it said that's what I was just saying. I don't like people to pay me in Bitcoin Cash because the Coinomi wallet for Bitcoin Cash is buggy.
Still buggy.
It's still buggy. I just tried to shapeshift, and there's no record of it at the exchange, and it's not in my wallet anymore. So I've got zeros here, and sometime tonight, hopefully, if I get lucky, it will magically reappear in my wallet. But at this moment,
maybe you should use the website version of Shapeshift.
It shows that I've sent something.
Yeah. Have you ever reported the bug to them?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Well,
usually what happens is in 2 or 3 days, it'll just appear in my wallet again.
I see.
So,
well, there is the website version. You're using the thing that's built into the Coinomi wallet. Yeah. So if you go to shapeshift.io, there's usually more options on the website for you to shapeshift from and to.
More coins, yeah.
And I've not heard people saying that that's broken in any way, so maybe that would be a way to do it and not worry yourself.
It's only Bitcoin Cash that I have that issue with when I'm shapeshifting.
So anyway, as I said to him, I had some issues with the way Bitcoin was being referred to on the Bitcoin Cash Introduction Academy thing, because they were saying Bitcoin and then putting in parentheses BCH. I'm like, well, that's not clear. You're talking about Bitcoin Cash. Why don't you just embrace that branding on the entire website? Because Bitcoin died. Quit calling anything Bitcoin anymore. Let's make it clear. Bitcoin Cash may be the true heir, and there's an argument to be had there. I'm not saying whether it is or it isn't. I think it's an interesting argument. It may be more true to the original Bitcoin, but it's still Bitcoin Cash, and you should keep that branding.
But he's still doing the same thing the guy in the email is doing by calling his preferred version of Bitcoin with no qualifier.
Right. Well, in this case, it was Bitcoin and then in parentheses BCH. And so I said, well, just call it Bitcoin Cash throughout the whole introduction thing. That way it's crystal clear what's going on. I mean, that's a summary of what I said to him. It was a longer, nice version of that. Like, hey, look, I'm not comfortable promoting this in this current form. And he said he'll talk about it with his team. And then like the next day or two, he got back to me and said they've implemented the changes. So now if you go to the Bitcoin.com Academy and you page through that, it's crystal clear it's talking about Bitcoin Cash. So he took the suggestions and he implemented them. So I said to him, when these changes were presented to Roger in a way that was kind, understanding, but still market-based, Roger did the right thing. He's clearly willing to listen to us and change. I say, I see you've cited Twitter accounts alleging Roger's committing fraud. I hope you can appreciate the difficulty in refereeing a dispute between our respective and longtime supporters, you and Roger. These are serious allegations, and I'd like to hear you explain how you believe fraud is being conducted. Have you been defrauded by Roger, or do you know someone who has been? If so, how? Guess what his answer to that question was? We'll tell you coming up here in moments. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I'm not interested in a Twitter account's assessment of the situation. I'm interested in yours as a longtime supporter of Free Talk Live, please. We'll come back with more coming up here. His answer, it's Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Mother's Day sneaks up and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you don't care enough to send flowers from the Books. That's short for bouquet, and they're booking awesome. Books flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Books farms and delivered straight to your mom, so they last weeks, not days. Books even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Books cuts out the middleman, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Books. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter code FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. That's Books.com, BOUQS.com. And remember, code FTL saves an extra 15%.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, dial on in here toll free. We're talking about cryptocurrency and the unfortunate ongoing petty war between the supporters of BTC and BCH, Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash, the two major competitors. If you look at the top 10 chart on coinmarketcap.com, it's, I believe, Bitcoin at the top, BTC. Below that, I think Ethereum is number 2. Ripple, which arguably isn't even a cryptocurrency, I believe is number 3. And then Bitcoin Cash is nipping at Ripple's heels. The last I looked, the recent upswing in the Bitcoin Cash price has been whittling away at Ripple's third place lead.
Fed.gov.coin.
So if Bitcoin Cash continues on up as it has been over the last month, now there's no guarantee that's what's going to happen, it could very well take the third place position. So these are things worth talking about. We are big fans of cryptocurrency here on Free Talk Live, and also want to be sure you know, before we continue the discussion, about Books. BOUQS.com. Book stands for bouquets. It is where you can go to get your mom flowers for Mother's Day that are incredibly fresh. They are straight from the farmers. Books cuts out the middlemans. They deliver it right from the farm to your mom, so these flowers last weeks and not days. Books cuts out the middlemen, and you get the amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. So show your mom how much you care and send her artisan-designed flowers from the Books. Go to Books.com, BOUQS.com, and use code FTL. You'll get 15% off when you, again, use code FTL like Free Talk Live at BOUQS.com. I think you can still get them before Mother's Day if you get your orders in ASAP at Books.com. All right, so just to recap here in what has happened, there's a Free Talk Live listener, an amplifier, a supporter of the show for however many years. He's a longtime supporter of the show who pulled his amp this week in anger over the claim that we support Bitcoin Cash. And apparently by support, he means we don't go on an all-out attack and join this petty war against Bitcoin Cash. Because we're willing to accept Bitcoin Cash as payment for advertisement.
You call it a petty war, therefore you support Bitcoin Cash.
I think it's petty what the Bitcoin Cashers do on their side, some of them.
All the editing and censoring and everything.
The censoring tends to be coming from the Bitcoin Core side.
That's what I'm saying.
From what I've seen.
Because you said
what I was saying, there's also petty behavior on the Bitcoin Cash side. So I'm saying there's petty behavior on both sides.
It's all childish.
Right. These are basically internet spats, which mean nothing in the real world.
Troll wars.
They mean nothing in the world of the business owners in downtown Keene who are accepting Bitcoin Dash and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, it would be really silly to for those kind of ideological reasons not accept the currency.
Exactly. And
for real.
It would be, crazy for us to refuse Bitcoin Cash. Like you were saying, Will, if somebody comes to you, they want to donate to the mosque that you run here
I'll take gold pressed platinum.
You'll take whatever bizarro crypto, as long as you can trade it somewhere.
For real, yo. If it's listed on Cryptopia, I'll take it.
Right. And so, you're not offended by whatever it is that somebody, offers to you.
I won't take Ripple
as a donation.
I have standards.
And I don't blame you for that.
I won't take Ripple. I have standards. Yeah. Or Stellar Lumens. I have standards.
So here, let me continue with this email exchange because he said there was fraud going on. And I want to know, because we take time. Like when a customer comes on, when Zencash came on with Free Talk Live, it wasn't just like Zencash came to the door, came knocking and said, here's a bunch of Zen for you. Can you put us on the air? And we said, yes. No. I was like, I need to learn about this. What is this that they're asking us to advertise? What are the problems with this?
BitConnect!
Yeah. Right. That was a scam crypto that got busted by the FTC or something like that in the United States.
Yeah, but it was promoted by like Sugar Ray Leonard or something like that.
Some people will take money to do anything. And we have some standards here at Free Talk Live. Now, to be clear, in the past on Free Talk Live, when we were starving or whatever, we were more likely to take something without, necessarily knowing exactly what it was. But we're not starving anymore, and we can afford to say no, to something. So we will if we need to. And we looked at Zencash, and Zencash was solid. So we decided, all right, we're willing to promote this thing. We looked at Dash, and Dash was solid. Despite all the objections and the haters about Dash, it's a crypto that does what it says it's going to do. It provides people a crypto they can use in real life from person to person and at point of sale. So anyway, I came back to this guy and I said, hey, look, Twitter account's not going to cut it. You know, citing links to a Twitter account that obviously hates Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash, you know, those aren't showing me fraud. I want to know, I said, have you been defrauded by Roger Ver, or do you know someone who has, and if so, how? Take me through the process of how this alleged fraud is going on, rather than just saying, well, people on the internet say there's fraud going on. So I said, I'm interested in not a Twitter account's assessment of the situation. I'm interested in yours. As a longtime supporter of Free Talk Live, please, I understand this comes with the burden of investing time into your response. And I think you can see I'm willing to do the same. Because we're, a few different emails into this now. I could be doing other things. I could have just been like, well, you don't want to support us. See you later. But I want to know why. Honestly. So I said, please let us know the details of the alleged fraud from your perspective. I think I speak for my co-hosts by saying we don't want to be associated with fraud, and we take this very seriously. So he writes back. He says, first, let me say I'm completely thrilled to hear about the feedback you gave Roger about some of Bitcoin.com's content. It's wonderful to hear. Second, I'm thrilled that you, being your usual sensible and empathetic self, and I'll endeavor to give your email the response it deserves. He says, I'll admit the fraud narrative is a bit overwrought, although not inaccurate. Neither I nor anyone who I know personally has been defrauded by Roger directly. Neither I nor anyone who I know personally has been defrauded by Roger directly. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, it could have ended there, but he's got more. So he says, that said, Roger has been outright lying about a variety of claims. So let's go through these, Will, because I'm sure you've heard some of these before.
Yeah.
These are the claims about Roger Ver that have been trotted out ad infinitum on various different internet forums and such. But here they are. Point 1, the claim of censorship by the moderators of r/Bitcoin. I'm familiar with this one. Roger has absolutely said that Bitcoin, the /Bitcoin on Reddit, has been censoring posts.
And they have.
This has been a claim that has been made multiple times, and they absolutely have.
Yeah. It's not a claim.
I've had posts deleted on r/Bitcoin. Now, is that really censorship? Well, no, it's not the government that's censoring posts, because generally governments censor, but we get what they mean, right? Censorship means deleting a post that ostensibly have to do with Bitcoin, but what's happening is, this is again another difference of perspective. The people who run r/Bitcoin are Bitcoin maximalists. They believe that BTC is the one true Bitcoin, and any post
Holy Grail.
Yeah, any post about anything else like Bitcoin Cash is not welcome on their Reddit. Now, the other argument from the other side is, well, Bitcoin Cash is as much of Bitcoin as Bitcoin Core, so therefore it should be allowed in r/BTC. But the mods disagree, and they delete anything that has anything to do with
create
Bitcoin
our
Cash.
BCH.
They also delete anything that has to do with critique around Bitcoin. So
that's the big thing that kills me for a lot of these different coins. Is this inability
thou
to
shalt not critique?
Yeah, you can't be like, look, man, there was this problem here. IOTA. IOTA just got in big trouble with this. They lost a major school sponsor because somebody published the findings that their security needed some work, and they flipped out and threatened to sue. And because of that, they lost the sponsorship.
You can't point out the emperor has no clothes. So, yeah, that's not a lie to say there's people deleting posts from r/Bitcoin. Now, whether or not they should or not, that's up for debate, but I don't want to debate it here because who really cares? Like you said,
because
there
it's
are
not
other
fraud.
Right, there are other Reddits. There's more coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies.
You create 9/11. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Pre-order now at killingunclesambook.com. killingunclesambook.com.
Free Talk Live.
Now, I can understand why some people would look at what the mainstream environmental movement says and does and advocates and come to the conclusions that, well, some of these people seem to want humans to go back into caves.
They do.
But that's not to say that just because the most vocal environmental activists out there
Or socialist nut jobs
are that way means that, well, we should just forget about taking care of the environment. Who wants pollution? Who wants any of that stuff?
Right,
What I want is market-based solutions that don't involve threatening violence against people, and that's what the government solution always is. The government doesn't persuade. The government doesn't ask. The government demands. And if you don't go along with their demands, they've got a nice cold concrete cage waiting for you.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the ongoing war, this geek war, that has not let up, at least on the internet. In reality, it doesn't exist.
I think Star Wars is better.
Versus, Star Trek or something
I think
like that?
Star Trek is better. Well, you know what? It's actually, what's that other show that Firefly.
Oh, yeah.
Firefly. That was the best.
The libertarians love Firefly, right?
Who cares, yo? Shut up. You watch Star Trek, you watch Star Wars.
Right.
All of you have your little circle jerk amongst all of your little Star Wars Star geeks and your Star Trek Star geeks, and who cares?
Well, a lot of people on the internet apparently care. In fact, some of them care enough that they're going to pull their support from Free Talk Live.
Stop the presses. Somebody on the internet's upset about something.
That we won't join them in their campaign of hate. That's what they're mad about. Now, Melanie does taxes, she does bookkeeping, and she takes cryptocurrency. And I don't imagine you're an agnostic, right? Like if somebody wants to pay you with Ether, if somebody wants to pay you with Bitcoin Cash, if somebody wants to pay you with whatever, you're likely going to accept it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what I say is all major cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I won't take the little stuff like Will.
Something really silly, like by the time I pay to transfer it to something I can use, especially depending on how much you're paying me for that bill. And you know what? On my invoice with my list of the ones that I send out automatically, Bitcoin Core isn't on top, so I guess I'm committing fraud too.
You are evil, Harridan. All right, so go to Melanie's website, tax.freetalklive.com. She's got a little more time on her hands now that tax day has passed, so maybe a good time to take on some new clients for bookkeeping. Maybe you've got a previous accountant who is a total statist, and you want to have an actual anarchist accountant, somebody who hates the state. That's Melanie. She hates the state, I think, more than Will and I do. I mean, it's hard to be against the state more than some of us, but she really has a seething, burning hatred for all things state, and she will do whatever she can to make sure you maximize the amount you keep from the state's clutches.
I think, in truth, she really, in her own little way, does more than we do, because we may preach against the state and try on our own
She's
to try to
actually keeping money out of their pockets.
She's helping lots of people.
That's a great point.
Starve the state.
She can help you too, and your business. If you go to tax.freetalklive.com, there are contact information there for Melanie. You can reach directly out to her, schedule an appointment for a consultation, right?
Yeah, so right now I have set up some flat fee monthly things, and if you think none of those apply to you, then we can work something individual, but the lowest one is $100 a month for.
And what's that for? Like a business?
Yeah. So,
bookkeeping?
Yeah. So that's the bookkeeping.
Because the personal taxes you don't have to do per month, right?
If you have like a reasonable system, QuickBooks Zero, Excel, something like that, I go through it, put in the entries. There's like a max for entries for that price level, but I think a lot of small businesses would fall under it.
Cool. That
kind
seems
of make
very
sure
reasonable.
everything's straight and I can tell you, like, hey, you might want to put money here, not put money here. That way you get robbed less next year.
Right. You get prepared for the end of the year and then prepared for 2019. So head over to tax.freetalklive.com. We're talking about the alleged fraud here. Now, as I pushed our emailer here to say, hey, look, have you been defrauded by Roger Ver, or do you even know anyone? And he admitted finally that no, in fact, he doesn't know anyone, and no, he's never been defrauded. And further, he admits that, and then he claims that he even admits the fraud narrative is a bit overwrought. So, like, all the claims that he'd made in the beginning seem to be falling apart here, but then he doubles down on regurgitating the same claims about Roger that we've heard a billion times on the internet. Do you want to jump in?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, we already knocked down the first one. He says that Roger's lying that r/Bitcoins Reddit is deleting posts. They absolutely are deleting posts. I've had posts deleted there. The claim is point number 2, he says. These are what he claims are outright lies from Roger Ver, the founder of Bitcoin.com. He says the claim that there is a cryptocurrency named Bitcoin Core. All right, well, we addressed this one a little bit earlier. The cryptocurrency is named Bitcoin, but I call it Bitcoin Core because to me it makes it clear which of the Bitcoins we're talking about. Because in my mind, the original Bitcoin no longer exists. There are now 70 variants of the original Bitcoin, and the first 2 were Bitcoin, BTC, which now we're calling Bitcoin Core here just to make it clear, and Bitcoin Cash. Now, you may argue that that doesn't make it clear, that it actually obscures, but again, this is all argument. This is all opinion. This is all...
Well, you can't call it Bitcoin Classic because there already is a Bitcoin Classic from a soft fork, a network fork.
Yeah, you're talking about a different code of Bitcoin's software.
Well, basically, they switched software clients.
Yeah.
You've got like 3 or 4 of those on top of all of your hard forks as well.
But Bitcoin Core was... The reason we chose that was because the official Bitcoin programmers, the ones that the Bitcoin Cash people don't like, they chose that name for their software. So why shouldn't it be the name of the currency that software runs? It's just an idea. Again, most of the exchanges still call it Bitcoin, but this is all about opinion.
It's
not
too much
fraud.
logic for a troll war.
Yeah, this isn't fraud.
Why are you logicking all over my drama?
Yeah. And in the same way that when Mark Edge claims that people who are small government are libertarian, I disagree with him. I think libertarians are people who adhere to the non-aggression principle, not just people who want a little bit less government in some areas. But it's just a disagreement among people with an opinion. What's the real definition of libertarian? People disagree about that. Yeah. It's not fraud one way or the other. Going on. Point number 3. He says Roger is lying about the claim that Bitcoin Cash has continuity with the original Bitcoin. It has the full history of the original Bitcoin blockchain. You may disagree that it's true to the original Bitcoin or doesn't have the right changes or whatever, but the history of the coin itself has in its past every single transaction from the original Bitcoin blockchain. So again, I don't understand that one. He says Roger's lying that a claim that a minority fork can be Bitcoin. Now this has to do with the total accumulated, I think, proof of work surrounding. This is a technical issue surrounding which one has the true claim to being the original Bitcoin. And some would argue that the true original Bitcoin is the one that has the most accumulated difficulty with the mining, and that they would claim that that's BTC. And it is. But does that mean it's that the other ones aren't Bitcoin? That the other 60 or however many forks there have been? I would argue they're all Bitcoin because they all have that original blockchain basis.
I think there's an argument to be made that most cryptos are a version of Bitcoin because they just copy the code most of the time.
He even brings that up.
For real, yo, Litecoin is just Bitcoin.
The difference is, though, those are forks of the code, as you pointed out. Whereas Bitcoin, so just to clarify what I mean by that.
Fork of the same blockchain.
So Litecoin was the second cryptocurrency. There was Bitcoin, the original, in 2009, and then Charlie Lee came out with Litecoin. What they did with Litecoin was they made it 4 times faster. So instead of the blocks confirming every 10 minutes on average, it's every 2.5 minutes with Litecoin. That was the only thing they changed about Litecoin, and they
Which
released
is like an improvement.
And they released that to the world and said, "Here we are, we're Litecoin," which was basically Bitcoin with this one tweak. But the difference was Litecoin started from zero as far as the blockchain was concerned. Now, the blockchain, for listeners that don't know, is the public ledger that is the backing of Bitcoin.
It was a new Genesis block. Litecoin is its own Genesis block.
So Litecoin started from zero, basically, and created its own crypto, whereas the Bitcoin Cash fork and all the subsequent forks after that used the full blockchain, which was at that time like 100 plus gigabytes of transactions. Every transaction that had ever happened on the Bitcoin network was there when that fork occurred. So you were forking from the blockchain in addition to forking the code, and so you weren't creating something that's totally new from zero. You're creating something that's new from the point at which Bitcoin was at that moment, if that makes any sense.
Well, you're creating a copy of the blockchain,
Correct.
including all mined coins.
All 16 million of them at that time.
All mined coins, all owned coins, everything that's connected to the blockchain for that coin. It's literally just a photocopy of it with the new protocols, the new programming worked into it, and now a new name.
Correct.
Whereas
and all that history is still there.
Dogecoin, Litecoin, these are new coins, complete new coins, new Genesis blocks that have their own multiple hard forks.
So we'll come back with more here. He's got a couple more of these alleged lying by Roger Ver, which so far I don't think any of us have agreed that any of these are lies, right? We're all in agreement on that.
It's all ridiculous.
There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free. So again, where's the fraud? Call in with it.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in here toll free at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can also join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. If you don't agree with, the opinions of some of the hosts of this show, we've got open phones every single night. If you want to come on the air and take a Bitcoin maximalist position and tell us why Bitcoin is the one true answer to everything for freedom, I'd love to hear about it. But instead, we're just
didn't we have like one time when I was on the air that somebody tried to do that?
Yeah, Michael Yah, he's called in a couple.
2 minutes into it, and that was as far as it went.
We've had Michael on for more than, maybe you weren't on the show, but one of our listeners.
This was the night that I was on. This was like the first time he called. You were like, "Oh, hi, who's this?" and blah 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 blah. And they went into the thing. I think it was like the first time that the Bitcoin Cash, like we hate Roger Ver, like a caller had actually called in about it.
I see. So what we're going through here are some of these emails, and by the way, I also want to invite you to our email list, which is a way for you to get updates about Free Talk Live. Once a week, we'll send you an email to keep you in the loop with the show. You can go to freetalklive.com, sign up for that email list there. This is from a Free Talk Live amplifier, or former amplifier, who has quit amping, and it's because he claims we support Bitcoin Cash. And by that, he appears to mean that we haven't completely kicked off Roger Ver and Bitcoin.com from being an advertiser on the show. And we don't hate Bitcoin Cash. Simply because we accept Bitcoin Cash, well, we're evil and we're holding back liberty. And he's going to get into that coming up here in a moment. And so back to the claim here. After finally trying to nail him down on these claims of fraud by Roger Ver, he admits that he's never been defrauded by Roger Ver, nor does he know anyone personally who has been defrauded by Roger. In fact, he even further admits that the fraud narrative is a bit overwrought, but then goes through 5 or 6 different examples of things that he believes are outright lies. That's his words. Outright lying about a variety of different claims, which we've debunked all of them so far. But there's 2 more here. One is the claim that the current Bitcoin devs are new in some way. He's saying Roger Ver is saying that the current Bitcoin.org, Bitcoin Core developers are new. All right, so this is a claim I haven't heard. This is one of the few of these claims against Roger that I'm not familiar with. Have you heard this one at all?
No, not really.
So let's just take it at face value, because again, he doesn't provide proof for any of these. He's just sort of rattling off things that he believes about Roger.
They are they not? Like, they drove out Gavin Andreessen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like they are pretty new.
They are new.
In fact, later, I didn't even address that in my response to him, but in the next email, he addresses that. He says, the claim the current Bitcoin devs are new in some way. He says, I just did a bit of historical research because I couldn't find a resource I felt you would trust. Here are the status of the first 10 Bitcoin contributors. I don't even understand why he... Well, let me go through it. Satoshi Nakamoto, retired. Marty Malmy, retired. Gavin Andreessen, retired.
Gavin's not retired.
Now working on Bitcoin Cash.
Gavin was straight driven out of Bitcoin and now works for Bitcoin Cash.
I don't know how anybody could say Satoshi is retired or not retired or alive or dead or anything.
Nobody knows if it's one person or a team of 10 developers.
Then it goes down the road. There's 5 or 6 more here, and all of them are retired except for one. So of the original 10 Bitcoin programmers,
that would
gone.
mean all the developers are new.
Right. So I don't understand why he could even...
problem?
Yeah, he says, so the only person still active from the first 10 is developing on Bitcoin, including those so I can find a current affiliation, blah, blah, blah.
Only that's not true.
So it's like he just disproved his own claim about Roger there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to his original list. The final item on his list here about Roger allegedly lying is the claim that the current Bitcoin devs are somehow co-opted by corporate interests. Now, this is another one of those things that people talk about on the internet, and from my understanding, there's a bank called AXA, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this, that gave over $100 billion to a company called Blockstream, and this company called Blockstream has paid off a bunch of these programs. They've hired a bunch of the Bitcoin official programmers. So that's, I mean... Is that a corporate interest co-opting them?
That's not the only thing that he's talking about, though. The other shoe on that pair is the mining companies. The companies that build the miners themselves have figured out that there's more profit in keeping the mining hardware and mining the coin themselves than there is in selling it, and that's centralizing in China, and that's centralizing mining in the hands of corporate interests in China, that's a very true statement.
But you can say that about Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core.
Exactly. Because their mining farms are in Korea, but still,
if we're just talking about the devs, he says
farms.
the devs. He's talking about the devs. He's saying the current developers are somehow co-opted by corporate interests. That's the claim Roger Ver is making. He's claiming that claim is fraud.
I haven't heard Roger make that claim. I've
seen that. I've seen that one.
I've heard him make the claim about the centralization issue and like the Chinese mining, the Chinese hardware companies trying to centralize mining. I have seen that. I've never seen him claim that the developers.
I've seen these claims about the developers, and if it's true, now look, I don't know if it's true. I've seen the report claiming it's true. I do, because if it turns out that Bitcoin, which was originally created as a way to undermine the banks, right? Like Satoshi Nakamoto, ain't no doubt about it. From his original writings, he hated the money system, the existing government banker money system, the fiat currency system. Bitcoin was designed to undermine that. Okay. If it then turns out that a major European bank, or wherever AXA is from, I think it's called AXA, check me on this, please. This is what I've heard. If they put $100 billion into a company who then hires the majority or a significant portion of those Bitcoin developers, is that a co-opting by a corporate interest?
Yeah, but that's why you have Litecoin, Zencash,
right,
Verge,
but
Monero.
He's claiming Roger's lying about that.
That's why I say big deal, though. Like, for me, okay, so they got bought out. Awesome, great, wonderful. Who cares? There's literally 1,500 coins out there.
Well, but he's saying that's not true. He's saying they haven't been co-opted. He's saying that Roger claiming they've been co-opted is a lie.
Okay.
And I'm saying I've seen the claims that Roger has made. I've seen the reports that claim that this company put $100 billion into this Blockstream, and that the Blockstream people pay a lot of the Bitcoin developers. So it sounds to me like they are being told what to do by this corporation that has $100 billion at their disposal. So again, is that fraud? No, unless you can prove that that's not true. And from what I understand, it is true.
There's centralization in tons of coins that exist out there.
Yeah.
Tons.
Well, it's sad. I mean, if it's true with Bitcoin, it's sad because it shows that it's been undermined. Anyway,
even Vertcoin, which is a coin that is very, very openly devoted to the concept of decentralized mining, still has a kind of centralized marketing team, centralized development team. I mean, it's like a dozen guys and some MIT genius trying to develop and keep this coin alive and develop better protocols and new mining algorithms. But that's centralized. That's the power, and the decisions made in this coin are in the hands of a handful of developers. Right. So even if a handful of developers are being paid by crowdsourcing, then give your money and invest in them. And if you prefer,
you can choose the one you like
exactly,
the best.
It's the market. Right. If they're bought out, fine. Use the market and just go somewhere else.
Yeah. So far, I don't think he's gotten anything in any way, shape, or form that's even close to being fraud regarding Roger Ver. But he goes on. He says, from here, I'll go in a more personal direction as to why any continued affiliation with Bitcoin.com or Roger Ver, unless he gets his head on straight, precludes any future support from me for Free Talk Live and about my personal perspective and background. He says, I've been a voluntarist for my entire life, aside from a brief flirtation with liberalism and libertarianism in college. I'm well-versed in Austrian economics and have been loosely involved in Bitcoin since 2010. He says, I know personally the creator of Satoshi Dice, which was one of the more popular Bitcoin gambling sites.
I've still got Satoshi Dice t-shirts.
I'm also a software engineer with a specialization in high-performance distributed systems and security software. Given that background, I thought I understood Bitcoin well, and as I followed along with the scaling debate, I couldn't understand why anyone would object to a small block size increase. Remember, the proposal that they supposedly had a consensus about a year ago, before the Bitcoin split, was to double the block size from 1 megabyte to 2 and implement this segregated witness. They ended up implementing segregated witness first, and then companies bailed on their agreement. These people that support the Bitcoin maximalist view bailed on their agreement and refused to go ahead with the doubling of the block size.
Because they like the big fees.
At the time, there were huge fees coming later. Anyway, fortunately, he says, I didn't jump to conclusions. I saw apparently reasonable-sounding arguments on both sides and decided to do my own research. I found many things, he says, of which quite a few are completely non-obvious and are hard to explain to people without experience in massively scalable decentralized systems: propagation delay, orphan rates, verification delay, monotonicity, UTXO set management, satellite transmission of the blockchain, compact blocks, transaction malleability, mining centralization, node centralization, etc. Look, this guy's smart, right? There's no doubt about it. The guy who's emailing here, he's brilliant. He's a programmer. He knows his stuff. I don't doubt that for a moment. He says, once I understood these things to a reasonable degree, I realized that an increase in the Bitcoin block size via a hard fork at that time would be an irresponsible software engineering, and that by contrast, the segregated witness, which he says allows for up to twice the block size while being backward compatible, is a very reasonable engineering solution to a hugely complex set of problems facing one of the most complex systems yet built by humankind. So basically, he's going to say that he believes their techs are better than the Bitcoin Cash techs. More coming back on Free Talk Live. Hour 3's next.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com, or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,312 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $38, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,330. Antiwar.com reports Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu is warning that Turkey is prepared to retaliate against the United States if Congress goes through with a plan to halt the sales of U.S. weapons to Turkey. He added that the U.S. needs to let go of this. At present, language temporarily halting arms sales to Turkey is in the newest military spending bill, the National Defense Authorization Act. It would halt all sales until the Pentagon completes a report to Congress on the status of the relationship between the U.S. and Turkey. The relationship is not great between the two NATO members. Turkey has been openly threatening to attack U.S. forces within Syria for backing the Kurdish YPG. The U.S. has also irked that Turkey recently bought a Russian S-400 air defense system, choosing it over more expensive U.S.-made options. It makes sense that Congress would be leery of selling Turkey arms that might soon be used against the U.S. forces in northern Syria. At the same time, Turkey is offering to buy over 100 F-35 jets from Lockheed Martin, and that sort of purchase covers up a lot of concerns. Turkey's foreign minister insists that his country is not under your orders and would not accept the U.S. Congress telling them what they can and can't buy. He did not specify what Turkey's retaliation would be if the ban is to be put in place.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports approximately 191 feral horses were found dead in a dried-out stock pond on Navajo Nation land in Arizona last week. Navajo Nation Vice President Jonathan Nez said the horses were looking for water and got stuck in the mud of the stock pond, one of the few water sources for the feral horses in the arid area. He said in a statement, "Resources at the scene indicate that foul play was not a factor. These horses were not shot or maliciously killed by an individual. These animals were searching for water to stay alive. In the process, they unfortunately burrowed themselves into the mud and could not escape because they were so weak." A photo of the scene shows dozens of horses buried in the mud. Some are lying on their sides, while others are still upright with mud nearly reaching their heads. The president of the Navajo Nation said the incident exemplifies the problem the Navajo Nation faces in an overpopulation of feral horses.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports President Donald Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said on Sunday he would not rule out the possibility that payments were made to women other than porn star Stormy Daniels to get them to stay silent about allegations against Trump. Giuliani told ABC's This Week he had no knowledge of whether former Trump attorney Michael Cohen made other payments, but he said, "I would think if it was necessary, yes, Cohen made payments for the president or he's conducted business for the president." Giuliani called the $130,000 Cohen paid to Daniels in 2016 a nuisance payment. Daniels alleges she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. Trump has denied the allegations. Cohen, Trump's longtime personal lawyer, faces a criminal investigation in part over the payment to Daniels. Michael Avenatti, a lawyer for Daniels, accused Trump of having an extramarital affair slush fund and told ABC he believes similar payments had been made to other women. Disclosure of additional payments could complicate matters for Trump, who initially denied knowledge that money was paid to Daniels. Giuliani said on Friday that Cohen's payment to Daniels, 1 month before the November 2016 presidential election, did not violate campaign laws and would have been made even if Trump had not been running. During a Fox News interview earlier in the week, Giuliani did link the payment to the presidential campaign and acknowledged for the first time that Trump had been aware of the payment. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
Well, I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the advanced skills that they're going to need. They're going to need the more practical skills like how to find drinking water by collecting the morning dew in human skulls.
Or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal hellscape.
But these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons. And he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in here toll free. Join us at 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. We are debunking some of the claims against Roger Ver, who is one of the longtime sponsors here at Free Talk Live. There are a lot of people out there that really hate Roger, and including some people who at one time supported Roger. But then Roger left the Bitcoin camp, the Bitcoin Core camp, BTC, and joined the Bitcoin Cash camp, and now, oh my God, he is the enemy to some people, and because he supports Free Talk Live, now we're the enemy, and we're all ostensibly promoting these lies, which we've yet to actually determine if there are any lies out there.
It seems like everybody's in on it too. Like even like Charlie Yee, like everybody is in on
the hate Roger.
Yeah, like the Vertcoin crew, they all hate Roger. The Litecoin crew, they've started to get in on it.
I mean, it's crazy. Like
I've seen multiple developers now. Again, like you may not like Roger for whatever reason you don't like him, but you have to acknowledge and give the respect that, you know, the man put an absolute ton of his own money into creating what we have today. And if it weren't for Roger, I honestly don't believe crypto would be as developed as it is now.
He's a key player.
He was a key player in the beginning.
But that doesn't mean people who are key players in the beginning can't be wrong later, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
That he
I'm
could
not
be
saying that.
He might be telling lies. We've just yet to been able to actually identify any of them. I mean,
exactly.
We've been through this list now, and the emailer finally admitted, you know, that he the fraud narrative's a bit overwrought after initially saying fraud. Now he's saying it's a bit overwrought, and then further, when I pushed him, he admitted that neither he nor anyone he knows personally has actually been defrauded by Roger. So again, you know, he's got these allegations that sort of get thrown around on the internet, but we've yet to determine whether any of these allegations are valid, that Roger's telling lies. And again, if you've got some evidence of this, I want to know. Now, I will say, as I pointed out earlier, that there were some parts of Bitcoin.com that I thought were not clear, that they were referring to Bitcoin Cash. I gave him that feedback. He changed the website. So,
but not being clear is not the same as
fraud.
It still had the ticker symbol, so it wasn't trying to be misleading.
Yeah.
It just wasn't necessarily as clear as maybe a new person would need.
Right. So let me go on here with this critique, because this is from a supporter. Yeah. This isn't just some random schmo who emailed, I hate Roger, you guys suck. This was, I'm upset, I'm quitting your AMP program, and here's why. And I want to know why, and I want to know more about these allegations, and he really couldn't back those up. So let's go into why he feels so bad. What's the core reasoning here? Like, why is he so mad about it? It's not just because Roger's allegedly committing fraud, because you've already admitted he's not, but what is it about this whole thing that's bugging you? He goes on, he says, I'll go in a more personal direction, and he says why any continued affiliation with Roger is precluding any support from me. He goes on to explain that he's a brilliant programmer. We read this in the last segment, and he knows his stuff. He did a lot of research on Bitcoin and the proposals to change and to scale Bitcoin that happened last year, and that those proposals ultimately took Bitcoin in two different directions. We now have multiple competing forms of Bitcoin out there. But folks like this emailer don't believe that anything else is Bitcoin except for BTC. They're true believers, if you will.
You still advertise for Bitcoin.com, right?
That's correct.
And there's your problem then, probably.
Well, that's one of the reasons why he's mad at us,
yeah,
yes.
You advertise for Bitcoin.com.
Right. So, yeah, he says as long as we continue to affiliate with Roger or Bitcoin.com, he can't possibly support the show. And now he's explaining to us why that is.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take Mr. Amper, we'll take those dollars. We specifically were like, I don't want to do sponsorship work with Roger Ver. Not because I don't like him, just because his name's already on everything in the crypto community already.
Yeah,
so
but you're
I
not
just
speaking out
wanted
against Roger, so that's probably going to be enough to keep people away from you.
Yeah,
too.
we're not advertising for him, so we'll take your money. If you got a business, we'll be happy to advertise it for you.
But the thing is, we weren't even promoting Bitcoin Cash. We were just talking about Bitcoin.com, where you can buy BTC and you can mine BTC.
Or BCH.
Or BCH, Bitcoin Cash.
Oh.
So he says he did all this research.
Which are very clearly labeled as different and not the same thing.
So he did all this research. He's a tech guru. He knows his stuff. And he basically says that many people have tried to explain these complexities to Roger and the others who wanted to increase the block size sooner and more directly than this segregated witness plan that they ended up putting in on BTC. He says, unfortunately, it's very hard to fully grok these complexities, meaning that he understands, but most of you guys, including us, I'm not a tech wizard. I'm not a...
I can barely write email.
I can build my own computer. I'm fairly decent with tech, but I'm not a guru of Bitcoin and programming. I don't understand all of the behind the scenes. So I'll admit that. And he says it's much easier to go with easy talking points about Moore's Law, which he says never even applied to network or disks or computer speed and may even be dead on its own terms. So here I sit, he says, a fervent supporter of liberty. I understand the complexities of the issues behind the Bitcoin community and developers' decisions. Then I see Roger on the shows of people whose work I value tremendously. Yours, Brett Venatz, and others. And he's spouting outright lies, which we've already determined he's not. Propaganda and occasionally fraud. Well, again, you've admitted he didn't defraud you.
People act like they don't know what the word propaganda means.
Propaganda is just
or
information.
Fraud or anything else that they say these days.
Propaganda is an information with a viewpoint.
Of course, guess what? Bitcoin.com is a propaganda site.
Guess what? Free Talk Live is a propaganda show.
And so is,
for real.
Yeah, and so is my Facebook page and the website I'm about to build. And
we think it's
your website and anything any of us does.
We think it's good propaganda. Because there's bad propaganda, and our minds is pro-state propaganda is bad propaganda. We're anti-state, so we're good propaganda. But from the state's perspective, we're bad propaganda because we are a threat to their existence. But going on, he says, so when I introduced him to someone else with the depth of knowledge to understand the situation, he rejected the interview offered. He's referring to another show host named Steve Patterson, who I'm not familiar with. He rejected the interview offered because that person's credentials were not to his liking, which, of course, has nothing to do with Free Talk Live. We're open phones here every single night, so if some guru wants to call in and explain to us why we're so wrong about Bitcoin, we'd love to hear it. Although, that said, a year ago at Anarchapulco, not this Anarchapulco, but in 2017, we had both Roger Ver and Tone Vase on the show. And this was a time at which, and Tone, for those that don't know, he'd been on our show previously from other Bitcoin conventions. He is a Bitcoin maximalist. He is full in the Bitcoin BTC camp, and he is a true believer. And we had him on to explain to us why this Bitcoin Cash was going to be a bad idea and, take that full side of it. And we had Roger on to talk about the other side of things. So no one can ever accuse Free Talk Live of keeping the other viewpoint out. The phones have been open all night tonight. And for all the people out there that are supposedly so, anti-Bitcoin Cash or pro-Bitcoin, we haven't heard a single peep
and you won't
out of them. And as you pointed out with this supposed lawsuit that was going to happen, Will, of all this hubbub, there's all these news articles. There might be a lawsuit.
Tidal wave of support.
Yeah. They couldn't even raise $4,000.
I love when people use hyperbolic terms like that.
They couldn't raise enough money to pay an attorney for 10 hours worth of work on this supposed lawsuit, which of course wouldn't have had a hill of beans of a chance to succeed in the first
place.
place.
And the fact that attorney wouldn't take it on contingency tells you they really weren't going to win.
Yeah, exactly. So, finally, he says, this brings us to today, when I realized I was still amping and stopped, and your system asked if it was on purpose. I know you responded to email, so I responded, and here we are. Well, the system asks, but I also send a personal email asking as well, because I want to know. He says, the above narrative still doesn't explain why I'm so emotionally engaged about this, but I think this is a place where Roger and I have a lot in common. I think we both see the potential for a truly free market money that is better than gold to bring about an entirely new scale of human flourishing than that which was briefly glimpsed during the Gilded Age. He says, when we see anything or anyone threaten that vision, it almost physically pains us because of the success of Bitcoin to date has so far been beyond what anyone involved early on could have imagined, and we see it being used right now in places like Venezuela to increase human flourishing. Sadly, being passionate about liberty is not enough for Bitcoin to succeed. It needs the best minds in the world working to ensure that it can survive any government attack, any network failure, any commercial attack, literally any possible attack.
It does. It does. It already does.
It's solid, man. It's rock solid.
It's not just, it does because you've got more than just Bitcoin. You've got the brightest minds in the entire world, and they're working in the cryptocurrency industry right now.
He believes the brightest minds are working on Bitcoin.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. James,
he doesn't think any of these other cryptos have the smartest programmers, which is this is the Bitcoin maximalist true believer mentality, is the idea that only Bitcoin Core, only BTC has the smartest programmers. All those other programmers of the other 1,500 cryptos, they don't know as much as these brilliant men. Which I don't buy that for a moment. No. It's Free Talk Live. Mother's Day sneaks up, and we hit the panic button. We get suckered into online flower giants pitching $19.99 flowers that end up costing $60. Or we grab last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions. That tells Mom you didn't care enough to send flowers from the Bouqs. That's short for bouquets. And they're bouquing awesome. Bouqs flowers are as unique and special as your mom. They're freshly cut from Bouqs farms and delivered straight to your mom. So they last weeks, not days. Bouqs even has farms located on the side of a volcano that produce flowers so gorgeous, Mom will post pics of them and brag about you. And because Bouqs cut out the middlemen, you'll get amazingly fresh flowers at an amazing price. Show Mom how much you care. Send her artisan design flowers from the Bouqs. Order today and get an extra 15% off when you enter FTL. That's BOUQS.com. And remember to enter FTL to save an extra 15%. Bouqs.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material.
FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free if you want to join us here. The lines are open as always. The number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. And we like hearing from people that disagree with us here on Free Talk Live, although it's always disappointing to find out that somebody who was a supporter of the show has now turned against the show. And that's why I've spent all this time, and we've spent this whole show talking about this series of emails that was traded over the weekend between Free Talk Live Amplifier, who decided to quit amping the show because we're associated with Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com. And there were allegations of fraud, which were not proven. In fact, they ended up being withdrawn when we pressed him for details on the allegations of that fraud. There were allegations of lying. We looked at every single one of those allegations, and we found that there was no evidence that there was lies being told. That's where we're going to continue here in a moment. But hopefully your mother didn't defraud you or lie to you, because if she did, you're probably not going to get her flowers from Books. But if you love your mom, and most of you probably do, and you're looking for a great gift this Mother's Day, you've got a little bit of time left to get to Books.com, B-O-U-Q-S. Books stands for bouquets. Now, you can always go to the grocery store and get some last-minute produce department flowers that smell oddly like green onions and tells your mom you didn't care enough to send flowers from the Books. You go to BOUQS.com, use code FTL, and you'll get 15% off when you enter that code. And Books, by the way, cuts out the middlemen, so you get amazingly fresh flowers, some of them from the sides of volcanoes. You actually get to choose where they come from in the world, and you can learn a little bit about the farmers and, kind of the practices that they put into play there. BOUQS.com, code FTL. That's Books.com. As we continue here, so we've debunked these claims about fraud. We've debunked the claims about lying so far, but now he's getting into his reasons why he's upset. And he finally says, so right now, Roger and his ilk, which I guess includes all of us because we haven't turned against Roger, are delaying the future. Only delaying because if Bitcoin couldn't survive them, then it was destined to fail anyway, but still delaying. That said, I have a bad habit of making myself angry about people delaying human flourishing, especially when they do it in the name of liberty. So what he's saying here is that because Roger is no longer behind Bitcoin Core, BTC, the number one crypto in the world, that therefore he's an enemy of freedom, because anybody who would support Bitcoin Core or who doesn't support Bitcoin Core but supports any alternative to it is apparently an enemy of freedom. So we're all enemies of freedom. We're holding back the future because we're willing to accept other cryptocurrencies. These inferior cryptocurrencies programmed by inferior programmers, according to this emailer, because we're willing to accept them, we're part of the problem? Am I really supposed to believe that? As you pointed out earlier, Will, libertarians generally believe that competition is a good thing, but yet here you have
competition is God.
Here you have, and we
free
know,
market circles,
right? We know that, and that's why crypto is such a healthy area, because it's completely open to competition. Because all of the source code is open, and if anybody wants to, they can copy it.
No intellectual property laws.
They can copy it,
none of that,
and they can tweak it. And that's one of the things that really burns these people, and that's why I thought it was really ironic that some of them were even talking about a lawsuit. Some of them were talking about getting the government involved in trying to stop somebody who happens to have a website that's a better website than Bitcoin.org, right? Bitcoin.com, .coms are always more memorable. People know when you think of, well, hey, you want to learn about Bitcoin? What's the first website you'd guess? Bitcoin.com, right? So they're jealous. They're mad that Roger has this resource that he was smart enough to acquire at some point in the past for whatever amount of money he paid for it. He got it. And they're butthurt about that. They're butthurt that he left their camp. And we've actually got somebody describing themselves as a voluntarist who is on the all-out attack, claiming Roger's an enemy of freedom and that we're all enemies of freedom because we're not against him.
And if you think that Roger Ver picked the wrong fork for Bitcoin, although I don't know why you have to pick one, but if that's your opinion that he picked the wrong one and you want to hate him for that, fine. You don't have to like Roger Ver. I don't even know Roger Ver, so I don't care if you hate him or not. But then say that. Like, say the actual reason that you hate the person, not some made-up BS reason that he committed fraud because he picked the fork you don't like.
Right, and the idea here is that because other people are supporting other cryptocurrencies, whether it be Dash or Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum or whatever, that's somehow diluting things? That's making it harder to get to freedom? That we only all need to get behind the one true solution? I mean, this
Crypto
sounds like...
ain't going to overthrow the state anyway on its own, by the way. So
it's a tool. It's an important tool in that chest.
You do more, again, I'm back to, you do more to promote Dash than you do to promote Bitcoin Cash.
Locally? Yeah.
Well, in general, even on the air, I think I hear you mention Dash.
Because Dash is more useful locally. That's why it's, it's just it's out there.
More than you do Bitcoin Cash. So, I mean, why not complain about that? Why not complain about pre-mined garbage, blah, 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 blah.
And we had another amplifier who posted on Twitter recently and tagged me in a post talking about how, bad it was for freedom, that, people aren't supporting the original Bitcoin. Hey, look, if Bitcoin was useful, I'd still be promoting it to the local currency, the local merchants.
Nothing screams freedom like a coin that is mostly mined by communist Chinese electricity subsidies.
Well, that's true of Bitcoin Cash as well. It's true of a lot of these things.
To me, it's hilarious.
It's true of a lot of them. But the fact that we have competition, the fact that there are 1,500 options out there, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
People who love the marketplace should embrace that. Besides saying, oh, you got to get behind the one true choice, the one true God of Bitcoin. This sounds like religion. This sounds like, madness. It sounds like a cult. And cults, are or sports teams are very culty, right? People wear sports teams' colors. They wear their names and their numbers. They worship the leaders, the charismatic leaders.
The offsides call is only wrong when it's on your team.
Yep. So here's my response to Brandon. He says, having read over your email now twice to make sure I understood the allegations, it appears you're trotting out the long passed around claims about Roger, most of which have to do with different opinions. Kind of like how some people like Mark think libertarian means something different from what I think it means. These are arguable points, but not fraud. Or there's the conspiracy about the developers, right? The idea that the devs have been purchased by some mega corporation. Again, if a conspiracy theorist believes false claims about the World Trade Center being taken down, that doesn't mean the conspiracy theorist is engaging in fraud. That said, these claims are all worth talking about in greater detail with our audience, which we've done here tonight. He says, as you've admitted now, you've no actual claim of fraud. You really just don't like that Roger Ver, one of Bitcoin's original biggest proponents and the owner of the best URL for Bitcoin, is no longer in your camp. I said, all right, now we're going to come to the hard part for you to read. Possible cognitive dissonance coming up. Please don't take it personal. Based on what you've said in these emails, you appear to be what some people call a Bitcoin maximalist, but I would call a true believer. You believe Bitcoin is the one true way. No doubt about it, it was first and the most important and will likely stay on top for a long time. But I'm not a true believer in Bitcoin. I'm crypto agnostic. I believe in cryptocurrency as a path to more freedom for humanity. That doesn't mean I'm anti-BTC. We still accept BTC on our website. Only accept BTC for AMP at this time. And my church still has plenty of BTC holdings, and I'm currently actively doing a promotional giveaway of BTC, of Bitcoin Core, and Dash to locals in the Keene area. I don't actively promote BCH or Bitcoin Cash to local merchants because it's not the best option for them. And neither is BTC.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a point of sale.
It does now. AnyPay's got it, and it's working.
Oh, yeah?
It's just it wasn't there first. Dash beat them to it. So Dash was what got promoted first, rather than Bitcoin Cash. And further, Dash has lower fees than Bitcoin Cash.
Yes.
So even if they were on the same playing field as they are now.
Faster, too, I think.
Yeah, it's 4 times faster as far as confirmations are concerned, because Dash was based on Litecoin.
We love Bitcoin Cash so much that we're just ragging about how Dash is better.
Right. We're coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. And yes, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com. It is the big Bitcoin website where you can go and learn about the original cryptocurrency that has since splintered, has since forked. And I didn't want to see that happen, but it happened. And we can address that a little bit further here. We're in the midst of a series of emails between me and another young gentleman, I don't know how old he is, a guy who is a supporter of Free Talk Live, a brilliant programmer guy who's mad that we're not completely on board with believing that BTC or Bitcoin Core is the one true way to freedom. So we're going to continue with that here, but also go to Bitcoin.com. You can learn about Bitcoin there and Bitcoin Cash more specifically. But also you can mine Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Cash. They've got mining contracts available for both. You can buy them both through Bitcoin.com. Although in certain parts of the world, you aren't allowed to buy one or the other. So some parts of the world you can buy them both. And then in some parts of the world, I think you can only buy BTC or BCH. I forget which. But they sort of geographically know where you are based on your IP, and they give you the options based on that. Anyway, go to Bitcoin.com, find out the cool stuff there, and the news and information over at news.bitcoin.com. So I'm reading my response here to our emailer, who finally, after claiming there was fraud being perpetrated by Roger Ver, when we asked him to point it out, what specifically he was talking about, he admitted that he had never been defrauded by Roger and didn't know anybody who'd been defrauded by Roger. He trotted out some of the old Twitter claims against Roger, which we've debunked one after another. And so, again, we're not convinced in this studio, and our co-hosts Mark and Daryl, when we talked about this last night, they weren't convinced that there's any kind of evidence that Roger is telling lies. But again, the phones are still open for anybody that wants to, trot out some kind of claim, or you can always shoot an email. But going on here, so I'm explaining to him, like, this is the hard part. You might have a hard time hearing this. There may be some cognitive dissonance, but you appear to be a Bitcoin maximalist. You who was emailing the show, or one of our supporters who's now dropped his support for us because we don't oppose Bitcoin Cash. I say to him, I believe in cryptocurrency as a path to more freedom for humanity. Cryptocurrency as a concept, not one specific cryptocurrency. It says that doesn't mean I'm anti-Bitcoin. We still accept it on our website. We still take it for advertising. We still have plenty of Bitcoin holdings. And I says, I don't see Bitcoin Cash as anything other than much-needed competition to the big, slow BTC. And then in parentheses I add, it took me 6 weeks to send Bitcoin back in December. I had sent some Bitcoin from a Bitcoin wallet to the wallet of one of the Bitcoin vending machines, and I sent it with a fairly low fee, and it hung there for 6 weeks until it finally went through. So to tell me that Bitcoin wasn't broken or isn't broken, I'm sorry, that's not working. It's supposed to take 10 minutes, and it took forever. I wasn't even sure if it was ever going to come back. Anyway, I says, I don't claim to know which one will ultimately prevail, or if it would be something else in the market, likely, perhaps something that is yet to be created. There's 1,500 cryptos out there. The idea that Ford would have stayed on top with the Model T forever, I mean, anybody looking back at history knows that wasn't going to last. New things are going to come out. Upgrades are going to happen. The product is going to get better through competition. And if Bitcoin Core doesn't compete, they're going to sink.
Well, how do we end up with Blu-ray discs? Well, we had to have
there was HD
RCAs.
DVD.
Well, you had to have RCAs first.
RCA? VCR?
No, RCA had a capacitance electronic disc.
Oh, yeah.
And then JVC
back with Laserdisc.
Philips had Laserdisc.
Right.
And JVC had the video high density disc. And then those became CEDs. And then those became DVDs. And then DVDs became HD DVDs. And then HD Ultramax HD. And then Ultramax HD became Blu-ray. And now you've got 4,000 HD.
If there wasn't any competition, we'd all still be stuck with VHS.
Yeah, but there are no laser discs. There are
not anymore.
No
they ended in the
capacitance
1990s.
Discs. None of that stuff is around anymore. Yeah. And that's what happened. That's the natural way things are. Betamax is gone.
But Laserdisc lasted for 2 solid decades. It came out in the late 70s, early 80s, and it lasted until the end of the 90s, even though it never really got a real foothold in any significant way. I mean, how many people did you know growing up with a Laserdisc player in their house?
No.
I had one when I was a teenager because I was a videophile and I got into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there were enough Laserdisc fans to make it so it continued for a couple of decades. They didn't have to use VHS. There was another option. It was more expensive, but they wanted the higher picture quality because Laserdisc had twice the resolution of VHS, so it looked better. It had surround sound.
Who uses dial-up?
There are still some people, believe it or not.
Exactly. Very, very few people use dial-up. But dial-up was, what was the thing before dial-up? Nobody.
There wasn't anything.
There
Telegraph?
Well, no, there was
Fax machines?
before regular dial-up internet that we use, because I was just watching a tech thing from the 80s the other day, and it was talking about like the stuff that existed before the internet, before the internet as we know it.
Yeah.
Okay,
they had bulletin board systems is what they were called.
The average person doesn't even know what that is.
No, they don't.
You know what I'm saying? And why do we not expect for that to happen in the cryptocurrency world?
Right. It's like to say, oh, well, the smartest people in the world made the 300 baud modem, and so therefore you should stick with that forever.
Yeah, we're all still using Turing processors.
So
there's no reason to ever move past a Turing processor. Let's just have these giant, clunky computer processors that it takes them 15 hours to add 2 + 2, and they take up an entire 30,000-foot room. Let's just stay there. Let's never move forward.
Well, because the smartest people in the world made that processor. So.
Well, yeah, so we can never be any better.
As Guilfoyle, who's a fictional character on the show Silicon Valley on HBO, last night explained, whether Bitcoin fails eventually is no matter. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. My goal is to get useful cryptocurrency into people's hands. Right now, that's Dash. Sorry, BTC's fees are too high. Even now, even though they're down significantly from what they were in late 2017, where they hit $20, even $30 per transaction, they're now like maybe 40 cents or somewhere in that range. But it's still way too much because I can send Bitcoin Cash for like 3 cents, or I can send Dash for a cent or less. So it's a no-brainer. I said I only give away BTC to locals because of the name recognition. So what I'm doing here in the Keene area is we're running ads on the radio during Red Sox games, and we're promoting Bitcoin and Dash, and we're giving away both of them. But the reason why I'm using Bitcoin is because people know what that word is. So it's got that incumbency. I says maybe the Lightning Network will fix the fees. But until then, BTC is nothing more than the incumbent king of the hill that's resting on its laurels and is weak to competition. Did I want to see Bitcoin split? No way. If you were listening last year, you probably already know that. I wanted to see them come to an agreement, but I'm not surprised this happened. This is what happens when things get too big. Schisms happen in crypto, in liberty, in religion, in politics, etc. Personally, I've learned to embrace schisms and forks. That's why we're having ForkFest this year, coming up in June 14th through the 18th. Go to forkfest.party to learn more about that. I said, otherwise, you're just swimming upstream or trying to put the cat back in the bag. This petty war against BCH, and on the other side, the petty BCH people warring against BTC, are a waste of everyone's time. It's water under the bridge. If BTC's your favorite, get out there and promote it. But acting like its success is the linchpin for freedom, and that anyone who doesn't agree with you is a problem, is very religious, culty-sounding belief.
I'm with you on the religious culty sounding belief. Bitcoin is not the necessary part. Cryptocurrency is the necessary part. And you know what? As Bitcoin private is better than Bitcoin. You know why?
Because it's private.
Because it's private.
Right.
There you go. Right there. Already we have
It's better in that
competition.
aspect, but it's not better. It's not better distributed. Most people aren't using Bitcoin private. They don't even know what it is. Whereas there are people who are asking about Bitcoin Cash in the marketplace. I've had two local business owners inquire with me about it. So I finally said, pulling your support from the only radio show promoting liberty and cryptocurrency because some of the hosts disagree with you about your favorite crypto seems, well, petty. In fact, one of our hosts, Chris Reitman, on Thursday nights is a big BTC fan, and he's currently experimenting with the Lightning Network. Rather than calling in to discuss your options or your opinions on our international platform, you just take your ball and go home. Seems counterproductive, but it's your money, and you can do what you want with it. I'd rank what you're doing right up there with the people who target local Bitcoin-accepting businesses and threaten to not shop there if they keep accepting Bitcoin. You're doing the same thing in reverse. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that, because that's something we've come up against here in Keene. It's Bitcoin haters targeting local businesses over it. More coming up.
Liberty.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Got enough time for you. We're actually going to get to your calls here in just a moment. Just going to finish up the last few thoughts on this debate between people who believe that Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin Core is the one true solution for freedom in our lifetime, and the rest of us who are like, yeah, I'll just do whatever works. So if Bitcoin's working, cool, let's use it. Unfortunately, Bitcoin, BTC, has not been working particularly well over the last year, and so that gave rise to the opportunity for some other cryptocurrencies to come in and take away some of its market share, and that happened. In real life, on the ground here in Keene, New Hampshire, out in Portsmouth, New Hampshire as well, the two hot spots on the planet for most Bitcoin-accepting businesses per capita, the people in the real world are choosing Dash and not Bitcoin.
I remember there was a headline at one point in time, Free State Bitcoin Shop no longer accepting Bitcoin.
That's right.
Because they stopped taking Bitcoin for a time because
to
the
protect their
fees were
customers.
because the fees were so high that they had to. That's sad. When a business feels they have to protect their customers from the miners of a currency.
It happened here where Corner News. There was a guy who'd bought some Bitcoin from me in the past. He had never spent any of it. He got it in his head that he was going to go spend some of it at Corner News, a local shop that's been taking Bitcoin here since 2013. Now they take Dash. But he went in there with the intention of spending Bitcoin on some tobacco or whatever and was shocked when he got hit with a $10 fee on top of that. He had no idea that was going to happen.
There were times we went out to eat there's the social Sunday.
Yep.
And I'm there with the wife and the kids. You go up, you order food. It's $40 for the food, and it's at least 10, sometimes 15% in fees.
It was in 2017.
I'm like,
it's come back down.
If I want to pay sales taxes, I'll just use money.
And one of the reasons it came back down was because there were fewer Bitcoin transactions on the network now. They dropped off like a rock off a cliff, and that's probably because other people were just deciding to use other cryptos at that point because the fees were lower.
I stopped using it altogether for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. I haven't used Bitcoin at point of sale in more than probably almost a year at this point. So anyway, let's see. Let's continue here. You can go to Free Talk Live's AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up. If you do support the message of freedom, if you understand that this is an open format, open phone show, and anybody with a viewpoint can come and express it here, and you appreciate that, and you don't necessarily feel like you have to agree 100% with every single host, which they don't even agree with each other, then you want to support the show, please. We'd appreciate it. You go to amp.freetalklive.com, and yes, you can use Bitcoin Core. In fact, the AMP program doesn't accept other cryptos. That's the only crypto you can use, BTC, at amp.freetalklive.com. So my final thought here to our emailer, who, again, was really mad about Roger Ver. We debunked a lot of those claims. He even debunked his own claim that there was fraud going on. He admitted that he didn't have any evidence of that. And so finally, I say to him that you are doing basically the same thing that the Bitcoin liberty haters here in Keene have done. You've approached a business. Well, we're not a business, we're run by a church. But you've approached, in this case, let's liken it to a business. You've approached somebody that takes Bitcoin or Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash, and you've said, I don't want to do any business with you unless you only take this one cryptocurrency. And I'm taking my ball and going home. Well, that's the same thing in reverse, basically, as what the Bitcoin haters do here, where they'll go into a Bitcoin accepting business and they'll say, oh, you're taking Bitcoin? Well, I'm not going to buy any other sandwiches here ever again from you. If you keep taking cryptocurrency, I'm taking my business elsewhere. That happened to one business here in Keene, and they quit taking crypto over it, because they were told by a handful of their customers that they were going to stop doing business there if they continued to accept Bitcoin, and they bailed out. And then, of course, Bitcoin went up by 10 times, between the time they bailed out and now. So, I mean, they should have held on to it. They should have kept taking it and told those customers to go pound sand. It's as ridiculous as somebody coming in and saying, you're taking American Express? Well, I am not going to shop here ever again because you're taking something some of your customers want to pay you with. And that's the same thing this person is doing. So going on here, I said, ask yourself, would you go into a local business? Because it's one thing to send an email saying, I'm leaving because you don't hate Roger Ver. You don't hate Bitcoin Cash, and then that's your email. But would you go into a local business, look the business owner in the eye, you as a customer of that business, because this was an amplifier for however many years prior to this, a satisfied, listener. Would you look that person in the eye and tell the owner he's putting the future of freedom in jeopardy by accepting a form of payment that his customers requested to use? If so, you would be a jerk. And that business owner is just trying to do right by his customers. If people want to pay with a different crypto, that's evidence of BTC's failure to be the best currency. Because if Bitcoin was such a great currency, if its technology was so awesome, we would never had to have replaced it with anything.
If the whole problem is the fact that you're not on the Bitcoin-only train, then why not boycott over the Zencash contracts? Why not boycott over the Dash contracts?
Question.
Why not send an email back in January when you added Vertcoin to the LRN website.
Because they see Bitcoin Cash as a threat to Bitcoin, unlike the rest of them, for whatever reason. Because Roger Ver, because Bitcoin.com, because he's visible.
If I could use Zencash at point of sale,
you would.
I would never use anything else.
It's not there yet, though, unfortunately.
I wouldn't, though. I would never use anything else. Whichever privacy coin that has good technology and isn't willing to sell out to the banks, I'm talking to you, Verge, I will use nothing else.
Unfortunately, privacy coins aren't accepted at point of sale. That I'm aware of.
Not yet.
But we might get there someday. Unfortunately, Monero probably never will be because you have to spend $12 to send a Monero transaction. So nobody's going to do that for a cup of coffee.
No.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. I said compete by being the best, not by attacking the newer competition. Your favorite crypto is the king of the hill.
Yeah, like the free market that he's talking about.
Let's go to Gene. He's the Christian anarchist. He's on our Discord in the on-air chat room. Go ahead.
Hi guys.
Hey,
say, did you know here in New Mexico we've had 300 little ladies run over in the crosswalk so far this year?
Are you filling in for Sarah tonight? Because she actually isn't on the phones. She's normally on hold at this point. But she's not there.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to talk about the Bitcoins.
Sure.
I believe it or not, one time when they were $5 a piece, I had like 50 of them, and I've been trading back and forth all these years, and I usually make the wrong trade, so I'm not a billionaire, unfortunately. But I'm thinking of this new Kim coin. Have you seen the Kim.com idea with his new Kim?
I know
coin?
he announced something. You're talking about Kim.com, who's the founder of Mega Upload, who got raided by the U.S. government on behalf of the New Zealand government and the U.S. government, and anyways, facing extradition. But yeah, he had announced a Kim coin. I don't know anything about it. What makes it different?
Well, I don't know. It's supposed to be privacy and all that. It's very similar. It sounds like to your to the
Zencash?
other coin that you guys Zencash, yeah.
Okay.
And also, if I was to build a mining machine, how do I go about that? And can I make one that's powered by the sun, solar powered?
Ooh, well, if you can get a solar-powered computer, just a regular desktop, then you wouldn't be able to mine Bitcoin. I don't think.
You have to have special hardware for that.
But you would be able to mine
the solar power. The solar power would just be standard solar panels with an inverter. So it's not an issue.
You would be able to mine with mine Vertcoin, because Vertcoin is something that you could literally mine just from a personal computer that has an NVIDIA video processing. That's it.
Well,
That's
I
all
was
you
thinking
need.
of even building a specific machine. I don't know how to go about doing that.
Different ones cost different amounts. If you wanted to go simple, do non-ASIC. So you're gonna have you'll build say 5 to 7 cards, 1080s to 1050s are gonna run you anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a piece, and that's probably gonna be on the cheaper end to be able to
If you can even find them. It's getting hard to find graphics cards.
You can find them on Newegg. Plus the new Dragon cards that are coming out aren't even on the market yet.
There are definitely
some supposed to be amazing
forums out there where you can go and get actual expert advice on how to do this stuff. We're pretty. I mean, I've done a little mining just for fun.
I thought you guys were experts.
No, we're just on the radio.
Right. For a $5,000 to $10,000 investment, you could be able to make anywhere from $70 to $700 a month, depending on what
Depends
coin.
On the price of the power as well.
That's depending on what coin you're mining, how good you are. I mean, there's a lot of different variables.
How much power? How much power to run one of
There's
these
calculators on
There's
on
calculators online, like in
you
New
can put in the
Hampshire,
cost of the kilowatt hour.
It's
You can put in
$5,000 in power per Bitcoin in New Hampshire.
There's rankings out there of the different states and different
New
costs.
Hampshire's one of the most expensive.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, if you're doing solar power, that's a different question.
Yeah,
right?
$5,000 worth of electricity for 1 Bitcoin.
So there you go. I hope that helps a little bit. Gene, thank you for the call tonight. Out of time for tonight. You can join us online between now and tomorrow over at freetalklive.com. Check Will out at the Call to Freedom, his show. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, May 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,312 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $38, and the average price of Bitcoin is $9,330. Antiwar.com reports Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu is warning that Turkey is prepared to retaliate against the United States if Congress goes through with a plan to halt the sales of U.S. weapons to Turkey. He added that the U.S. needs to let go of this. At present, language temporarily halting arms sales to Turkey is in the newest military spending bill, the National Defense Authorization Act. It would halt all sales until the Pentagon completes a report to Congress on the status of the relationship between the U.S. and Turkey. The relationship is not great between the two NATO members. Turkey has been openly threatening to attack U.S. forces within Syria for backing the Kurdish YPG. The U.S. is also irked that Turkey recently bought a Russian S-400 air defense system, choosing it over more expensive U.S.-made options. It makes sense that Congress would be leery of selling Turkey arms that might soon be used against the U.S. forces in northern Syria. At the same time, Turkey is offering to buy over 100 F-35 jets from Lockheed Martin, and that sort of purchase covers up a lot of concerns. Turkey's foreign minister insists that his country is not under your orders and would not accept the U.S. Congress telling them what they can and can't buy. He did not specify what Turkey's retaliation would be if the ban is to be put in place.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports approximately 191 feral horses were found dead in a dried-out stock pond on Navajo Nation land in Arizona last week. Navajo Nation Vice President Jonathan Nez said the horses were looking for water and got stuck in the mud of the stock pond, one of the few water sources for the feral horses in the arid area. He said in a statement, "Resources at the scene indicate that foul play was not a factor. These horses were not shot or maliciously killed by an individual. These animals were searching for water to stay alive. In the process, they unfortunately unfortunately burrowed themselves into the mud and could not escape because they were so weak. A photo of the scene shows dozens of horses buried in the mud. Some are lying on their sides, while others are still upright with mud nearly reaching their heads. The president of the Navajo Nation said the incident exemplifies the problem the Navajo Nation faces in an overpopulation of feral horses.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports President Donald Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, said on Sunday he would not rule out the possibility that payments were made to women other than porn star Stormy Daniels to get them to stay silent about allegations against Trump. Giuliani told ABC's This Week he had no knowledge of whether former Trump attorney Michael Cohen made other payments, but he said, "I would think if it was necessary, yes, Cohen made payments for the president or he's conducted business for the president." Giuliani called the $130,000 Cohen paid to Daniels in 2016 a nuisance payment. Daniels alleges she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. Trump has denied the allegations. Cohen, Trump's longtime personal lawyer, faces a criminal investigation in part over the payment to Daniels. Michael Avenatti, a lawyer for Daniels, accused Trump of having an extramarital affair slush fund and told ABC he believes similar payments had been made to other women. Disclosure of additional payments could complicate matters for Trump, who initially denied knowledge that money was paid to Daniels. Giuliani said on Friday that Cohen's payment to Daniels, 1 month before the November 2016 presidential election, did not violate campaign laws and would have been made even if Trump had not been running. During a Fox News interview earlier in the week, Giuliani did link the payment to the presidential campaign and acknowledged for the first time that Trump had been aware of the payment. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Sea anemones are the most disgusting of all tidal creatures. Their thick tentacle arms are engorged with the collected urine that makes up much of tide pools. Whale urine, fish urine, otter urine, crab urine, all sucked up by the moon and deposited in these natural outhouses. Clownfish share a symbiotic relationship with sea anemones. The clownfish cleans the sea anemone. In exchange, the anemone sprays urine on the face of the clownfish. It's one fetishistic delight. Contrary to popular belief, sea urchins are not in fact animals. Indeed, they are not alive at all. They are simply the clumped-together leavings of the ocean's denizens.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear! No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear. Here and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedom's with an S, Phoenix.com. Call in, Pape. We're going to have him explain it to us. Now, we talked to him last year when they first did their initial coin offering for a token to do pre-search. Pre-search.io. Pre-search is a decentralized search engine. Now, this is something that, he kind of happened upon this concept and this idea and crypto, and they said, oh, hell yeah, we want to be doing that. And he was new to crypto, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, gazillions of dollars, and let's make it. Make what? We're going to have Colin explain it to us. He's the founder of presearch.org, a decentralized search engine that aims to disrupt the current search monopoly and provide the world with an open, transparent search alternative that is powered by the community. For the community, prior to founding Presearch, Colin founded ShopCity.com, a federated network of local marketplaces that enables each community to build their own Amazon.com, powered by local businesses. In 2011, ShopCity.com had a run-in with Google that opened Colin's eyes to the secretive nature of the world's largest online company, leading him to realize the need for Presearch, which is going to be, is it a Google ass whipper? I don't know. Let's find out. All right, Colin, explain it to us, man. What was the problem that Shop City had with Google to begin with?
Hey, Ernest. Thanks for having me on. So basically, imagine you're running a profitable business. You've got thousands of customers. You've been around for more than a decade, and you wake up one day and almost all of your websites are now on page 4 to page 8 on Google, and your traffic has fallen off the cliff, and all of these customers have had their traffic disrupted, and they're not able to connect with their customers, and you have no idea why it's happened, only that you look and Google is no longer showing you on page 1 where you used to be for searches, even including your brand name.
What? You put in search term for your brand name and you're like page 4?
Yeah, exactly. So
what up with that?
Yeah, a site that's been around for more than a decade. It went online in April of 2000. It's got, more than half of the businesses in the community participate. It's got partnerships with local governments. And you search for shopmidland.com, and it's found on page 8. So, and then around that time, you see that Google starts running a campaign, Get Your City Online. And so your wheels start turning. What is going on here? Is this, them somehow trying to shut us down, or what's going on? And so
trying to shake you down for some money.
Well, you never know, right?
No, I do know. They're trying to shake you down for some money. You want that? Well, I'm sorry, you're getting like a free ride here. We're going to delist you until you pay to list you. It's like Facebook getting, oh, they're your friends. It's just going to cost you to talk to them.
Exactly. Crazy. So
well,
that was.
Well, then what? How
happened.
did you approach Google? Did you say, look, what's the, what did you change? What did you? And they go, none of your business. But for $100, we'll fix it for you. I mean, what was the outcome?
Yeah, that would have been awesome if it were that simple. Fact is there was really no way to contact anybody there. We tried, every avenue, and there was just, no response. So we're going in through webmaster forums, asking people for suggestions, implementing all these changes, thinking, oh, well, we need to eliminate all the variables. Maybe it's something that we did by accident. No changes have been made, but who knows? And so we just start really tightening everything up. We're going into an official Google forum. It doesn't mean that anybody from Google is actually there.